Everybody mute up.
3, 2, 1, 0.
I hit that mute button. What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Phil Porto, aka Phil All Caps of Morning Brew Sports, and I'm here with my guys on another episode of the Knicks Nightcap, rocking with my guy to the bottom right there, Mr. Diehard Eru himself. I got Bully over there, Mr. I Know Knicks and I Know Music, and then my guy from North Carolina representing the squad of the Guard Up Knicks, Mr. Apollo himself. What is up, my guys? How you guys doing tonight?
Peace. Yeah, how y'all doing?
Good. How you doing, Bully?
I'm sick to my stomach. I'm still sick to my stomach, man. I haven't recovered, man. I still got the butterfly. I'm still angry. I was supposed to work today. I called off of work, man. So I'm still recovering from the game, man.
I'm jealous, man. I wish I would have called out sick. I was at work all day, just laying on boxes and staying in the space and stuff, man. I'm still like flabbergasted by yesterday.
Yeah, there's so much we're going to talk about when it comes to last night's game. I know every Knicks fan felt exactly like I did. 30 seconds to go, getting ready to celebrate, pop open that great bottle of whiskey. You know, first time the Knicks have gone into, the playoff second round twice since, the 90s. It's crazy. Let's do this. And no, then 30 seconds of death, which we will talk about. So that's super frustrating. Everybody that's in here right now, thank you all so much for rocking with us so far. If you could, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit a retweet. Let's pack this room out with everybody to talk about this game. Apollo, I appreciate you. I know it's, yours and it's wifey's birthday. And so thankful you're here. I hope you got good sleep last night, since you'll probably be on the couch tonight for being on the show with us. So we appreciate you. But without further ado, I'm going to bring up Mr. Blue and Orange Everything himself, a fan I'm a fan of his music. I'm a fan of his personality as I've continued to get to know him. Great loyal fan to this Knicks fan base, and just a really stand-up dude. And he's been on the Knicks Morning Brew, but this is a first connecting you guys with Skyzoo. So I want to bring up my dude Skyzoo right now, and if Jigga can bring him up. What up, Sky? Good to see you, man. How are you?
Yeah. Peace. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Peace,
Want to introduce you to the guys. This is my crew for the Nightcap. I got Jigga and Hector in the morning with a nice cup of coffee, and these are my all right, let's end the night with a good bottle of whiskey or a cocktail. This is
Yes, sir.
Eru, Bully, and Apollo, some of the best in the industry.
Peace,
Right.
peace, peace.
Peace. What's up, brothers? All right. Absolutely.
It's good.
So, Sky, you hear all the pain in all of our hearts, and we know you felt it too. So
Yeah.
let's first talk about that game. Like, how were you feeling throughout that fourth quarter? Because up until those 30 seconds of death, it was blue and orange everything, blue and orange skies.
Right.
Right. And then those 30 seconds of death seriously put a dagger in every Knicks fan's heart.
Jesus
So
Christ.
how did you feel yesterday watching that game?
Sound like a Raekwon record, 30 seconds of death. Jesus Christ, man. Like, oh man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, you told me bring a bottle. So, you know what I'm saying, to kind of sulk in our agony, of what we're dealing with at the moment. So, this is a screwball. I don't know if y'all ever heard of screwball. This is a screwball, peanut butter whiskey. And then what you do, and we're gonna get into the Knicks catastrophe and all that we're dealing with at the moment. But what you do, you add cranberry juice, make a peanut butter and jelly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it works crazy. I was on tour once, and the owners of the bar were like tight with the owners of the company, and they put me onto it. And I was like, yo, grape juice? They was like, nah, cranberry, man, make a peanut butter and jelly. I was like, but you sure it's not grape? It was like, trust me. I was like, yo, peanut butter and jelly. So here we go.
Cheers.
Because we can't never have two things that match, right? Like Smokey said, peanut, got ham, no burger, peanut butter, no jelly. Damn, we never got two things that match, right? We got rebounds, no free throws. We got 3-pointers. Damn, we never have two things that match. So here's two things that match. You know what I'm saying?
Cheers.
Cheers.
But nah, all jokes aside, it was, man, I'm in a bar last night, me and my homie, Wings, Henny, doing the thing, going bananas, screaming. I live in Atlanta. I'm New York all day, but I've been in Atlanta for 5 years. So I live in Atlanta, so there's no Knicks bars in Atlanta. So we have a real popular spot down here everybody go to for games and all that. And I'm screaming to the top of my lungs, and it's not like I got y'all in the room with me screaming as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
fact.
I'm going off the wall solo. You know what I mean? Me and my man's a little more reserved. I'm in there like, yeah, I'm slamming chairs. Yeah, motherfucker, yeah. I'm going crazy. I go on my live. I go on the gram. I go on live the last minute or two. I'm going stupid. Yeah. And these such and such, man, these Sixers over here, man, doing XYZ. And I'm like, what? So I'm in real time on the live, and my heart is just turning into gravel, man. Like it was insane, man. There's so many things we could pick apart. I mean, the Josh Hart free throws, the Mitchell Robinson block foul, on that 3, the Jalen Brunson pump fake in the air and throw it to the corner when Hartenstein was already cutting. It's so many little blunders and lapses, man. And I was like, never got two things that match, man. but it was rough, man. I wanted that last night, In basketball terms, I wanted blood on the floor bad. After game 4, I was like, I want blood on the floor bad. You know what I mean? Like, I want it bad because this has absolutely turned into a rivalry. I think as long as Embiid stays in Philly, it will be a rivalry for years to come, which is good, right? Like, the league needs that. We had the Pacers back in the day. We had Miami. We had the Pacers in the Melo era. We've had our rivalries, but, we had the Nets when Darren Williams and all of them was over there. But
facts.
It's good to have these rivalries. So I think this is clearly what this has become. I'm very curious as to what Wells Fargo is going to look like tomorrow. They buying tickets and giving them out and blah, 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 doing the Oprah, you get a ticket, everybody get a ticket. So it's like, I'm very curious as to how tomorrow is going to go from a fan perspective, from on the court, and that view and that perspective. And it's just, I wanted that bad last. I wanted blood on the floor. I was like, just wash them real quick, wipe the floor with them and get this over with. Because everything that's being said today is what I was afraid of having to hear. yo, they not ready. We gave them too much too soon. Everybody talking about that's it. Yo, the Knicks is it. The Knicks is that. And then now, we gassed y'all. It was too soon. It was too soon. Y'all ain't real. I knew all that was gonna be the talk this morning, and it was. It was everywhere. I really didn't want that to happen. I wanted that bad last night, man. That one, it was almost as bad as 2013, the Roy Hibbert block on my bro Mello. It was almost as bad as that. You know what I mean? Like it was similar. It wasn't as bad as that feeling, but it was similar. And then at the bar, yo, so they turned, you know, the music be on in the bar and the game is on mute. So they turned the game on. They turned the audio on for the last like 5 minutes. So I'm like, oh, word, yeah, we good. They playing the audio. Soon as the game is over, they turn the music on. Kerry Hilson, how I'm supposed to breathe with no air. I was like, what? Are you serious? You tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no air?
That's
After
crazy.
That, what? Like, the comedic timing of the DJ was impeccable. You know what I'm saying? So here's the two things that match.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, it sucked because every Knick fan felt the exact same way. You know, like the feelings of the Garden were electrifying because I believe everyone thought that this team was going to make history tonight to get the first team to go back to back in the playoffs and forever. Like you look at the crowd that was there, the legends of the New York Knicks were all there.
It was crazy. Starks, and I think the thing, I think the thing, just to add to your point before you keep going, I think it was like the first time closing out a series at the Garden. I think that was like the caveat. It was like, yo, they would close it out at the crib. Like every time they've closed it out over the years, it's been on the road. It'll be the first time they close it out at the crib. So please go ahead. Yeah,
you know, so it was a vibe, you know, like everyone was there to see that memorable moment. And then to watch it all slip away was just like, crap, this is Knicks fashion, you know, like this is what it's felt to be a Knick fan, you know, like moments that you look for, and then there's that disappointment. And it's crazy because we went from Knicks in 5 to this morning on the timeline, everybody having a certain person that they hated, you know, that they wanted to throw the first stone at, you know? And so it was crazy.
How it is with us, man.
Yeah, you know, like there was the McBride hate of how did you let Maxey get past you? There was the Mitchell Robinson, how did you foul him? Ignoring the fact that Maxey did travel and actually jumped into Mitchell Robinson once Mitch already touched ground, which means he was the initiator in offensive. But we're going to skip that. You had the people that were, you know, pissed off at Hart, of course, because he missed that free throw. So we would have been up 4. So a Maxey 3 would have still had them down 1. They still would have needed another possession. So there's many things that we can blame it on, you know, and so I'm going to pass it all around. But for me, in that 30 seconds of death, those were frustrating times, but it was also followed by then an overtime disaster because that overtime was hard to watch. Like it was very, very hard to watch. And if you look at it, you know, anyone who knows me knows that I've been Team Brunson before the Brunson signing was official. You know, like I've rocked with him since he was in Dallas. So I don't care if people are going to get pissed off at me when I say this. But for me, Jalen Brunson's the reason we lost that game. Like at the end of the day, because of what we saw in overtime. Like going to overtime sucked. You know, there's many people you can blame for it going into overtime. Like there's many people you can cast blame on for it to go into overtime. But if you look at overtime, some of the greatest moments were with the ball moving like crazy throughout those first 4 quarters. In overtime, if you look, there was only 9 points scored in overtime, and they were all Jalen's. Okay. And Jalen shot 8 attempts, and there were only two other attempts in that whole fourth quarter. Like, I don't know why there's balloons there, but you know,
iPhone problems.
There's only 2 other attempts. You know, OG, no shots off. Josh Hart had 1. Hartenstein, 0. Brunson, 8. Dante, 0. Mitchell, 0. McBride, 1. So out of all those shots, everything was isocentric. And if a team knows that all you're going to do is isocentric, they're going to stop you, which they did with Jalen. Some of those were hard shots to watch. So for me, I think that was the problem in OT. Blame it on whoever you want in the fourth quarter. But in OT, I have to look at the fact that nothing else was going on. Jalen didn't incorporate anybody else into that overtime minutes. Into those 5 minutes, it was just Jalen. So, Sky, what do you think was, the contributing factor to the loss? And then I'll pass it to Eru, Bully, and Apollo.
Well, for me, I think there was enough blame to go around. I get putting it solely on Jalen because the points that you made are extremely valid. 10 shots in the overtime, and 8 of them come from your point guard. The ball can't have Gorilla Glue on it. You know what I mean? It can't be stuck to you. But I think what it comes down to is he's looking at it like, and whether he was right or wrong, he's looking at it like, yo, we got to close them out. I don't really want no room for error. Devo is kind of cold tonight. Hart is a little cold tonight. Even though Hart had like 17, 18 or whatever it was. OG has 17. I love OG, but they don't go to him as a scorer. He's a cleanup guy. He's a glue guy. So if there's a rebound to be had, cool. If you're in the corner open and I'm cutting and the paint is clogged and I throw it out, cool. But they don't look to him to create. So I think Jalen looked at it like, I got to go do this. And whether he was right or wrong is a different discussion. But I think he looked at it like, yo, I already dropped 40, whatever. I got to go do this. But 8 out of 10 shots being all you is crazy. I ain't going to lie. I believe in us 100% every step of the way. As soon as it went to overtime, I knew we was losing. I don't know what it was, but I had that feeling that as soon as when the buzzer sounded and it was overtime, I said, yo, we losing. Because that momentum was already starting to swing in their direction off of this Hail Mary 3+1 at the line and this and this and this and the little blunders. Josh Hart with the ball turning in the concrete when he shot it. It was so heavy that all those things started happening before the buzzer sounded. And when the buzzer sounded, I said to myself, yo, we losing this one, man. I didn't have no faith in overtime going our way. And I hate that that's the reality because I always believe in us, but being realistic at the same time, for whatever reason, I was like, yeah, we're going to take this L tonight. And then there was moments, 5 straight points from Jalen. Okay, we might be able to, whatever. But I knew, man, I had a feeling it wasn't going to go in our direction once we hit overtime. But there was no reason for us to lose that game. We're going to pass it around the floor, of course. But there was really no reason, man, to be up that much with 28 seconds, 30 seconds of death. It really was no reason. There's so many little things you could break down. I mean, Alan Hahn, shout to my man Alan Hahn. He broke down on ESPN radio today. All these moments, if they don't do this, if they don't do this, if they do that, just one of those things. If one of those things goes right, it's a different game, you know? And now they got to go out there and get to it, man. And I don't want to see a game 7.
No, not at all.
I don't want to see a game 7 because that's another one that I don't believe in. I don't believe in that one going right. I don't want that.
To your point about overtime, 8 out of 10 shots, one guy, is hard, especially if you're not hitting them. Like if you're on fire,
pass that.
It's a little bit different subject, But when you're having the 3 for 8, 37% kind of situation, and you're still shooting like that, because you look, honestly, as much as I love JB, the best player on the court last night was Tyrese Maxey. Like. He had the best game. Had the best game.
Crazy.
You look in overtime, he only took 4 of their 8 shots. He let Kelly Oubre and Embiid also get in on that, which made it harder for us because we didn't know who was going to score. Embiid, Oubre scored more than both of them in the overtime because it wasn't the guy that we knew or thought was going to be the guy to score. It was the guy that they found ways for him to score. So before we keep going, we're going to pass it around. I want to give a shout to everybody that's in the chat. Right now, we got over 250 rocking with us right now. If you can, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Shout out to my guy, Jonathan, the moderator of moderators. My guy, Anvios NYK. Salute. Appreciate you always with the beautiful, encouraging messages every day. Jorge, we appreciate you. We got Just Knicks in the building, giving his shout outs to Skyzoo. On Dios giving his shout outs to Skyzoo.
Peace and love.
None other. Appreciate you, my guy. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Kiona, appreciate you for rocking with us. RBL Basketball, still Knicks fans. My guy, Ron, the sole voice of the New York fan base. We appreciate you, my guy, as always. We got my brother in the back on the ones and twos, Jiggaman Porto. Appreciate you. My guy, Wiz, in the building. We got, Clavins Duras. I don't think I've ever seen you. I appreciate you rocking with us tonight. We got my guy Johnny Davis in the building. Trav B, appreciate you. If you guys don't know, Trav B makes music. Support him. We survived 100 people in the building. We appreciate you. The rest of you, if you're on X, head on over to Twitter. Hit that like button. Get in on the open panel on the live chat. Open panel will be a little bit later. But Iru, what are your thoughts, man, on what do you think were the contributing factors to that loss last night?
Well, I just want to give a double shout out to Travis Ryan. He does my theme song for my podcast too, man. So he's definitely a dope artist, man. Definitely big time. But you could tell you guys, we got some MCs on the panel, man. Mr. Porto and Skyzoo with all the bars tonight, man. But
and if you guys don't know, Mr. Apollo's got bars too. So
yeah,
we got the music coming out. We got the music coming out soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, no doubt. We're talking about like everybody being getting their little heat and whatever. But I think Tom Thibodeau needs to get some too, because even though Brunson's shooting, not passing, so like who's the person dictating all that stuff? What's the game plan? The number one thing that I was thinking about, matter of fact, I didn't even think about it until like the fourth quarter. It's like, they call a timeout, or they're gonna put in Precious. Somebody said that to me. I said, wait a second, Precious never played. I'd be looking at the thing, he didn't play all game. So we was kind of like flabbergasted. And then as soon as that happened, that's when everything started kind of like, going haywire and stuff, man. So just I think the Knicks, I don't want to say got out coached or anything like that, but I just think when the going got crazy at the moment, I think just everybody just got caught looking. Everybody got caught staring at the action and stuff, man. So Tom Thibodeau does a good job of preparing, throughout his whole career and stuff. So I'm expecting the next game for them to be prepared for everything that we saw today, man. So I think he'll probably clean it up, but we definitely needs to get some heat, because just a lot of those things could have been avoided. A lot of times during timeouts, you were expecting him to do something, he didn't do it. You were expecting like a certain time, like a certain substitution. Mitchell Robinson shouldn't have been there in there at the end to begin with, because he can't make free throws. You know what I'm saying? No, he has no offensive he doesn't have an offensive game, so you need the ball to move, and you have him out there. Hartenstein should have been out there, or Precious, somebody that can move, and just move the ball and stuff, man. So that was my gripe with the whole ending. But to tell you the truth, man, I didn't really know what happened until about 4:30 this afternoon. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like stressed out all day, just thinking about the feeling, not even about the game. So I didn't really think to like look about it. It's like, we got a podcast today. I say, I don't even remember what the hell happened, because all I'm thinking about is the emotions of it all.
It was numbing, man. It was numbing.
Yeah,
man. So it's crazy, man. So I'll pass.
All right, Bully. What are your thoughts, Bully?
But before we even get into that, man, I gotta say one thing: blood's thicker than water till it's money standing over it. That's if you guys don't know, what am I? That's my favorite song off his new album, man. It's called Bodies, man. So cheers, man. Salute to you, Skyzoo.
Yes, sir.
But
appreciate it.
Been a big fan of you, man.
Big
From
fan.
way back
Thank you,
to like, the Apollo joints, man. Like you got the whole jazz rap thing going on, man. I love it, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Much love.
One love. But for me, man, I'm kind of taking the opposite approach, man. I hear everyone's talking about Mitch, but Mitch played a pretty good game outside of those 30 seconds. Like Mitch was one of the best players on the court. Like I wasn't looking for Precious Achiuwa in the first 47 minutes of the game. And the thought, it did cross my mind, maybe, get Hartenstein in there, or maybe even go small for some free throws. But Mitch played a good game in that one. The 2 threes that he gave up, one, he fouled the dude, but then the other one was a logo 3. I mean, like if you're Mitch in that situation and you got a guy at the logo, I don't care which center you are. If it's Hartenstein, are they really coming out to the logo? Are they expecting that shot? So I think it's tough. But for me, the reason they lost the game, they went 66% from free throw. They shot 28% from 3. They have 14 turnovers. And as far as the offense, I mean, And in crunch time, especially in the playoffs, like you go to your money guy, so yes, the ball could have moved a little bit more, a lot more, but I'm not mad at it. I mean, you ride with your guy in those moments. I mean, that's kind of par for the course in the NBA. You don't get a lot of like pin downs and all that stuff in crunch time, especially in the playoffs. Like you ride with your guy, and the turnover you're talking about. I recorded that live. I thought it was going to be a big moment. He jumped up, and I'm like, he's going for the shot, and then Hartenstein cuts in, and I'm like, all right. But for me, I don't think Tibbs got out coached. I mean, I think players got to produce. Josh Hartman 1 for 6 from 3. OG had 4 turnovers. Brunson had 4 turnovers. And historically, if you look at these Tibbs teams, go back to the Bulls, go look at the numbers. They don't turn the ball over. So even though and then also I'll end it here, 6 offensive rebounds. That's the least amount of offensive rebounds they've had in a game this series. Every other game has been, I think, like 11 and up or something like that. So they got beat. Yeah. Exactly. So, like, to me, like what Tibbs said, talked about the first 46 minutes, in this case, the first 48 minutes. So I think as a team, like, there's enough fingers to point around to everybody. I don't think I can't really single out one person for the loss. And even like we said on our first show, we need a complete game from Dante, and we still haven't gotten that yet.
Yeah.
So to your point, the thing with Coach and why I kind of understand what Eru's saying is all of us in here are lovers of music. We all partake in music in some way, shape, or form. And we all know that no matter how good the artist is, if the beat falls off, it changes everything. Like, the beat needs to stay consistent. Like, we need to ride that beat. Like, if you're playing, it's not a track and you're not to a DJ and you're playing with a live drummer, if that drummer completely falls off beat or changes the tempo and you don't get word that they're changing the tempo, that's an issue. Everything kind of falls apart. And so a lot of people were blaming McBride, but Brunson himself even said it. I didn't make sure that everyone else was as clear as I was that Tibbs wanted us to foul. Like, I didn't make sure as the leader that I made sure everyone was on the same page. So McBride was not given clear direction, foul Maxey no matter what.
And he didn't hear Tibbs yelling at him either.
He didn't hear, and so, as the leader, Jalen Brunson, if he knew, making sure that everyone was on the same page. And if Tibbs was not 100% sure that everyone was on the same page and he felt like he had to just scream it, find a way to get your guys' attention. Call a timeout. Do whatever you got to do, like, figure it out. So there is some blame there. What are your thoughts, Apollo?
So, I mean, all right, full disclosure. I was in New Orleans for them this whole series. Not this whole series. It's probably the past 2 games. But yesterday we were driving home from New Orleans, and I'm actually passing. You talked about you being in Atlanta. I was passing through Atlanta while we were actually in crunch time. And I think we went up by 5, and it was, I think, might have been however many seconds left in the game. It was under a minute. And I'm screaming out the window, send him home. Like, I'm going crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm going wild. Wifey in the car with me, she laughing. She like, yo, she 5 minutes later, it's just like, yo, I turned everything off and we was just riding in silence. It was just
right.
It just changed the whole mood.
I couldn't have been driving on that game, bro.
Yo, it was listen, if I had another choice, I'd have pulled over somewhere.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Real. I couldn't see through the tears driving. It was
crazy. Yo, dude tried to mess with me in the highway. I'm like, nah, I got energy now. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was real different.
Ass. I can't believe. Hey.
It hurt. It real hurt, but it really hurt. But my thing with that game was free throws. That's what I'm blaming. I'm blaming the free throws. Everybody missed free throws. All of y'all had an opportunity to seal that game. All we needed was one more point. All we needed was one more point, and that 3-pointer by Tyrese Maxey doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Right. If we hit one free throw. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of blame we could throw around. Like, it's Tom Thibodeau. If y'all want to blame Tom Thibodeau for the timeout, you want to blame Brunson for a whole lot of stuff that happened. But at the end of the day, who else do we got? You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to go through Brunson for damn near everything. Yeah. Even Boggs is out now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have no choice but to go through Brunson for damn near everything. So I think as a team, we choked when it came to free throws. You know what I'm saying? That Josh Hart free throw was the biggest one. You know what I mean? Like, you got to knock those down. That first one you missing the front one off the front rim.
Yeah.
It's like, damn. Like, and even earlier than that, I think might have been a minute and a half left in the game or something like that. And Brunson missed 2 free throws.
2 back-to-back.
Right.
And it's like,
one of them joints, like you said,
just
man.
one. Just
Yeah,
one changes the game.
Yeah, you know what it looked like? Remember last year, that game against Chicago, where we had Grimes, he went to the line and he looked shook. He missed 2 free throws. We had Brunson, he went to the line. Like, go back and watch Josh Hart. He looked like he wasn't, like, he didn't want to be at the line. Like, you could tell like he wasn't dialed in. Like, he had the jitters at the line.
Yeah. He tried to get the ball out of his hands as soon as he could because he didn't want to be fouled. He knew what was going down. And it wasn't like one of the games like game 1 and 2 where he was hitting all them threes, so he didn't have all of that I guess that confidence, you know what I'm saying, to go to the line and knock him down. So, you know what I mean? And then Dante, like I mentioned, Dante wasn't doing his thing, so it's not like you could throw Dante in there. So it's a whole lot of stuff that went wrong, in my opinion. But they panicked. They got in crunch time and they panicked. All of them. Even Brunson at the end when he threw the pass to Hartenstein. Number one, I know we don't like saying it, but good defense to Batum. You know what I'm saying? He played excellent fucking defense on that play. You know what I mean? And if he didn't, then we might be talking about this series a little bit differently. This series might be over. You know what I mean? So, but that's just me. That's me.
One thing you said is, you know, we have to rely on Brunson. And I think that's the frustrating part right now is that we've had guys that we have relied on to partner alongside Brunson that have stepped up all season. And then in these last few games have been ghost, you know, like I'm a huge fan of the big Ragu, but right now it's the big Ragu, you know, like where's he at? Like, who is this guy? You know, and then the other guys, you know, are doing things that don't make sense, you know, like a bounce pass to Mitchell Robinson, who doesn't really have those capabilities. Like, know who you're playing with. If that was Hartenstein, that's a bucket, because that's the kind of player that Hartenstein is. He looks for those kind of passes. Mitch, it's got to be in his hands. You got to direct that pass to him, you know? So, like, just a quick difference of bouncing it as opposed to throwing it to you, you know, changes those 2 points right there instead of a turnover. So that's the frustrating part, is like no one is stepping up. Josh Hart has stepped up in certain ways, you know, but when it comes to the scoring, there's been a deficiency, unfortunately. And so we're going to talk about that because Eru brought up a point, but Skyzoo brought up a point, and some of our viewers may not have seen this yet, but this is what's happening with Philly right now. So Sixers say that owners Josh Harris, David Blitzer, and David Adelman and the franchise are distributing more than 2,000 tickets to fans for Game 6. They're actually not fans because they're not buying tickets, but it's responders, healthcare professionals, community groups, and
but the people he's giving it to is cool though. Like, he's giving it to like nurses and people that work in hospitals.
Giving them away to anyone who lives
like, that's cool.
in Philly, so that it's not a New York Knicks fan. Like, that's first embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
That you publicly have to acknowledge the fact that your fan base is that anemic that you're giving away $2,000 playoff tickets against the Knicks.
Nuts.
Like, that's anemic. To keep
Dolan
Dolan
would never. Dolan would never.
Oh no.
Dolan in charge.
I mean, just to get in the building is $500, man. $500 times 2,000.
Be out of your mind.
Skyzoo, let's talk about something Eru brought up, which is right here. And that is the where was precious. Yeah. Because Billy said something that makes sense of, I watched the whole 6 minutes prior to, before Mitch kind of dropped the ball. But here's the thing. With the way that Precious played in the game prior, Mitch might not have been as exhausted and making
the mental blocks and all that,
like that if he hadn't played as many minutes as he had, because he swapped some of those minutes with Precious. If Precious played poorly the game before, then it makes sense. The confusing part for fans is how you could see how incremental Precious was in that last victory and yet not see him get adequate minutes the next
Right.
game. So
Right.
what are your
Yeah,
thoughts on that? Like decisions like that?
man, I'm a Tibbs fan. As an honest fan, we've all had our moments, whether it's Tibbs or anybody else, where we have our moments and say, man, we feel away. We pick at him, whatever. But I'm a Tibbs fan in the sense of what he has done, doing the unthinkable for this franchise. Tibbs is absolutely a conundrum, man. Like, you can't figure son out because, like, you got a dude doing everything you want, playing defense in game 4, locking it down, not messing up too much, not too many errors, this, that, and the third. Really just doing his job, not doing more than you're expecting him to do, but definitely not doing less. Doing his job, showing up big, showing up in key moments, doing the things that may not show up on the box score. And if there's any coach that recognizes those things, it's Tibbs. And the next game, he doesn't play 1 minute. Like, I can't figure Son out. Any other coach, all other 29 coaches in the league, they would have gave Son 15 minutes easy.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't. Tibbs is a conundrum, man. As genius as he is, it's that genius thing where you can't figure him out, but like, that was wild. You know what I mean? That was wild. You have a serviceable center who can do X, Y, Z. Showed it 48 hours prior. I don't understand. Like, what are we doing? And what I also don't understand, when everything was going on with Embiid, and Embiid, even though he had a triple-double last night, he seemed a little more
He was terrible.
mild-mannered last night, right? Like, there was moments I'm at the bar and I'm telling people, I'm like, yo, he don't want to be there right now.
He don't,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, there was moments you could watch in the game. It was like, yo, Embiid don't really want to be there right now. He kind of want to go in the back and hit that ice tub. Like, you can see it. He's not doing much. He looks gassed. He looks exhausted. Pardon me, I'm in the South. There was a bug around here. But it's hot down here now. I'm in Atlanta. It's already 85 every day.
Yeah, I'm in Charlotte, so I know.
You know
how
what I'm
it
saying?
is.
It's already
Yeah.
85 here, so they outside. But anyway, it looked like he didn't even want to be there. There was moments I was like, yo, son don't look like he's ready for this to be over. You know what I mean? Like, it might be bittersweet with them winning last night. He might be like, damn, Ty, like, what you doing, man? Let's go home. You know what I'm saying? But there was moments throughout this series where it was like, we supposed to really play bully ball with Son and clean way, not do nothing dirty, but borderline. You know what I mean? It was like, yo, you got a dude right there who's muscled up, 6'11", doing nothing. Use them 6 fouls on Sims, man. Get Sims in there and be like, yo, check this out. If you score, that's cool. You get a rebound, that's cool. What I want you to do is cash out on them 6 fouls and put Duke on the floor. Put him on the floor the same way he did to us. Like Bart Scott and Alan Hahn said, same way he did to us, put his ass on, put him on the floor, man. You got 6 fouls to do it.
Yeah.
And we got
and that's
covered.
a great point. You talk
agree.
about how Embiid looked like he was ready to check out yesterday. Like,
Absolutely.
exhausted,
Check him
ready to
out.
bounce.
Do it for him. Check him out.
We needed to capitalize on that, because the game before, that's not what we saw. Like the game that they beat us, we didn't see that, like, ready to check out Embiid.
Right.
So
Right.
we don't want to see that version of Embiid tomorrow in Philly.
He's pulling up tomorrow. He's pulling up tomorrow. You can bet that. He's pulling up tomorrow.
A present Embiid. So what are your guys' thoughts? I'll throw it to you first, Apollo. Like, going into this next game, like the things that we saw, like the things that we saw from this game, what are the things that need to be different? Like, if we're going to stand a chance in this game. And before we do, if you're a Knicks fan, we don't care about making money. We just want you to be rocking the merch throughout the playoffs, go into other people's arena, disrespectful as can be, laced up in all of your gear, represent the Jalen Brunson all-star shirt where people said he was a nothing and he proved to be that something. The glue guy, Josh Hart, OG shirts, like 15% off. Use the code 2SEED and just wear it. Wear it wherever you go. We don't really care about the profits. We just want people to be able to rock good merch wherever they go. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat. The chat is blowing up. I'm trying to keep up with everybody. But everyone that showed up recently, my guy Eddie Presti, we appreciate you. AP, we see your questions. We're going to answer them in a little bit. Where art thou? You got some great points. He said, let's say we put in Precious, it's a disaster. Then what? Well, then we know, but we haven't seen that, to consider something being a possible disaster when it was far from a disaster the day before is more nonsensical to me than to think it's going to be a disaster after seeing that it was beneficial the night before.
The sample size proves it.
I'd rather be proven wrong than question if that was the wrong decision. But Louisiana Nick, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming in and being part of tonight. But Apollo, what are your thoughts for this next game? What do we need to do different? What are some of the keys to this next game and being able to close out the series? Because I really don't want to go 7. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's always a strong start. You got to get off to better starts. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if we got off to a better start last game, we wouldn't have been struggling so much at the end. But, you know, I mean, what I also notice is that every game that, you know, the 3 games that we did lose, that we won, pardon me, the 3 games that we won, we actually got up to a slow start. So it's not like we're not able to or capable to coming back from those deficits and winning the game, but just getting to a stronger start so that, you know what I mean, you're not in a panic situation, in a situation where 2 free throws mean more than they should. You know what I'm saying? Just getting out to stronger starts and just having guys. First of all, there's no how do you guard Tyrese Maxey? Like, what is the way to guard him? You know what I'm saying? I don't know how the hell you game plan for that kind of player. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, you do what you've been doing. You come out, you stay disciplined. That's the number one thing that we didn't do at the end of the last game. We didn't stay disciplined. Just making the right choices and decisions and spreading that ball around. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Jalen is that guy. And I mentioned I remember Skyzoo, you mentioned in a morning brew show before about how you know you get the buckets, but we need you to spread that ball around, spread the pill a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that we want. You know, if they know at the end of the day that the ball is going to Jalen, you know what I mean, this should be a play developed around that. You know what I mean? Some backdoor cuts or something like that, which we didn't really see a lot of. But one person that does do that very well that I noticed is Dante DiVincenzo, and he wasn't in the game. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't effective. So there's certain things when he's not hitting that shot, like somebody in the chat said, when he hits threes in the series, we won. We're 3-0. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? Not only if he's hitting his shot, doesn't matter, but it keeps him in the game because he makes very high IQ plays all the time. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about a lot of these other guys is, you know what I mean, they might not have the wherewithal to make those plays that he does. You know what I mean? Just off a whim. So, you know what I mean? I just think getting to a strong start and getting Dante involved early so that he can, you know, stay in the game and just help us get to that dub.
Yeah, I need Dante to kick it into overdrive because that's my son's favorite player. So like randomly, that's my son Miles' favorite player every night. He's like, "Where's DiVincenzo?" I'm like, "He's on the bench. He's coming back. When are they gonna put DiVincenzo in?" So like, I think he thinks his name is cool.
How old's Miles again?
He's 6.
Okay. So
I think he likes his name.
Exactly. I was just gonna tell you, my son is 3 and my other is 6. And ever since they heard me say DiVincenzo gang, I don't think they really care about DiVincenzo. But anytime they see number 0, they're like, "Dad, DiVincenzo gang." That's DiVincenzo gang.
I'm telling you, it's that name, man. It's that name. My son, he just grabbed him one day. DiVincenzo, where's DiVincenzo? Put DiVincenzo back in. I'm like, all right. So, but you know, it's you know what I'm afraid of too, man. And I don't want to jump the line on the circle we got going, but like, I'm afraid of, let's say, God willing, everything goes smooth. We win this series, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's Saturday, right? We win this series the way we should, and everything is smooth. This energy that they had prior to last night, I'm afraid of that being gone. And I'm afraid of them going into the second round with this cloud over them and this weight on their shoulders and the energy being depleted from them of, yo, we got it. We really are the 2C. We really that deal. We really believe we can do the unthinkable. It feels like a Cinderella season, right? 94, 2024. So what are we, 30 years, whatever. It feels like a Cinderella season. It has all the makings and the ingredients for that recipe. And what I'm afraid of is last night might have took some air out of the balloon. Where even if they do win the series tomorrow or Saturday, but God willing is tomorrow, they not the same boys next week when it's time to play Indy And now Halliburton is personal with him if they win, but
Mhm.
it's gonna be Indy. I don't see Milwaukee doing nothing without Giannis and Dame, being able to help out. It's always personal with Halliburton. He said it. They should have drafted me. I was mad when they skipped over me and blah 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 blah. Pick a number, right? There's a million of them guys that got that story.
Fact.
But he's always said, yo, it's personal when I'm here. It's personal when I play the Knicks. So for him to dumb out, for Obi to try to dumb out, for what we don't need is for them to be mentally and emotionally depleted when it comes to the second round. And I'm afraid last night might have hit heads in the stomach a little harder than we realized.
Yeah. So I agree. But one thing I love is like everyone keeps saying it in the chat because it's mad true. What up, Quiet Money? Appreciate you. Is that Jalen Brunson has yet this season to have games back to back where he makes crucial mistakes. Like he is the kind of player that when he has those interviews where he says, at the end of the day, I just have to be better. Like, that until that next game, he's trying to figure out how he's going to be better. Like there's a lot of people that talk it, but they don't really like practice it. But this is the guy that's going to spend all of his time figuring out how he's going to be better for that next game. So I'm not necessarily worried about, Jalen being better. I'm worried about like who is going to be the guy that steps up. Like McBride has been great in his fearlessness. Mitch has been incredible defensively, but a Mitch and Jalen Brunson scoring offense is not enough when the 76ers are finding ways for all of their guys to even contribute. Even Batum is getting these threes, because
campaign
it around.
Oh my gosh, the campaign yo, so annoying, B.
He's obnoxious. He looks like a little like Disney rat character. Like,
bro, you ever play with
somebody? He's Sid from Ice Age.
Bro,
yeah,
growing up, exactly, bro. Growing up, you ever play with somebody on the court and they not nice, but they be acting up, and then they do one or two things that got a little movement to them, and you be like, "Yo, Duke, you not nice, B.
You not like
you know
that.
What I'm saying? Like that son be like, I'm like, I wish I was guarding, son. I literally would be. I'll be like, "Yo, son, you ain't nice. You know that,
You're not
right?
nice,
like,
bro.
I would make sure the cameras caught all that. Like, yo, you see what son said to him? You heard what Taylor said to him? Like, yo, Duke, you ain't nice, B. Like, let's stop with all this. B. You hitting threes and putting your arm up. Duke, you not nice. Like, straight up. You define mid, maybe. You're not nice. Like, cut it out, man.
You gotta hit him with a Ray for Austin, Eddie House, slap the headband
you know
off.
What I'm saying? Yo, Duke, you're not nice, man. Like, come on with all this, man.
Word.
Like, you
something that's not mid. Something that's not mid.
He irks me, man.
Is that we got over 450 in the building right now rocking with us. We appreciate all of you guys. Please continue to hit like and subscribe. And we got Joe chilling with us from Portugal right now, showing Skyzoo, the blue and orange, everything love.
Yeah,
thank you so much for rocking with us from Portugal. But Iru, what are your thoughts? What do we got to do to take this and finally close it out tomorrow night?
Well, one word that stuck out to me was options, man. Like we play 82 games already, so we know what our options are. We know who does what, who whatever. So, we mentioned Precious earlier. Is one of the segments of the show. Precious saved the season at one point. When Julius went down, he started and he had 20 points, 16 rebounds, and all this other stuff. So we know what he can do. So for him not to be involved in the game at all in the playoffs is kind of bugged out, especially with Bogey being out and whatever. So, not just to emphasize that, just utilizing the people that we have. You also mentioned the 6 fouls and stuff. We got another guy that saved the season too, because we had a lot of injuries at center this year. My man, Jericho Sims. Jericho Sims on the bench.
Baby.
Throw him out there and if you want to talk about 6 fouls, throw him out there, and especially when Embiid is being worn out, put him out there, let him just go wild for a few seconds, 2-3 minutes, take him out. Just to see guys rotate in and out, that might give, like, say, Josh Hart a little bit of energy, because he's playing 50-something minutes, man. Take him out for 2-3 minutes just so he can see somebody else get off. Maybe that would take the little anxiety off of him. That way, later on in the game, he might be a little bit more sharp. Just thinking about stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Because I just found out recently, man, that the whole beef with Pat Riley and Randall Blackman back in 1994. that he didn't want to play Rolando Blackman because he has some interior beef. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like stuff like that is like you look back at it, it's like, damn, we could have used Rolando Blackman at a certain point in time. You know what he can do, but you let something else change your thought process or whatever. So there's no beef like that with the Knicks, but it's just like you have a certain mindset. Okay, you trust certain guys, this guy could do this, but you have to look at the big picture sometimes, So I just think that sometimes the team gets a little carried away, or maybe just I can't really call it, man, because I think we're just a better team than them, but I just think that
100%.
we're overworking our guys in certain situations, and then I think we're just like we're asking these guys to go balls to the wall for 40, 53 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy. You gotta utilize the options that we have, and I think pressure should have been utilized a little bit. Just use your guys the same way that this guy Buddy Hield got kicked out the playoffs because he was playing like trash, and they did put Cameron Payne in there. He's trash, but he came in there and gave him energy. And just by seeing Cameron Payne, I think he hit like 3 threes back to back in that game that that they won the first game.
Oh man, it was horrible. That was horrible.
But when he hit those threes, it kind of like made everybody else excited, and then they took him out, and they were able to get busy. So I feel like we can kind of do the same thing. It's not like we don't know these guys can play. We know our guys can play. So just put the guys in the situations and just let it do what it do.
Here's the thing: is I see Billy's comment, and I see Bully's up there, not supporting the whole Jericho Sims thing. He says Jericho Sims is softer than a pair of Jordan dry fit socks.
He got 6
here's
fouls.
The thing: no one is saying that Jericho Sims is a game changer or going to set us higher towards success. What we are saying is every single minute that a guy like Mitchell Robinson can get of rest is going to make for a better Mitchell Robinson in the minutes that we necessarily need him. And so there are times where Mitchell Robinson is playing way too many minutes for a guy that just came back from injury. Way too many minutes from a guy of his build. And so Jericho Sims coming in, even last night, you saw Jalen Brunson had that like minute and a half that he went and sat down. And then he came back in, but that minute and a half was like life for him. That minute and a half of like
phone charging in the wall.
Yeah, it was like he came out as a different player when he came back after that minute and a half. So even bringing Jericho Sims into a point where it's like, okay, he may not be able to stop Embiid, but he can foul Embiid and make Embiid earn those points at the free throw line, and because a tired Mitchell Robinson might end up doing the same thing, having to foul Embiid instead of stop Embiid. So those are opportunities to just throw him in for the sake of throwing him in. And if you don't want to go with Sims, that's fine. But Precious Achiuwa proved what he can do on the defensive end for us. And he also adds offense to us. So in those minutes where, as great as Mitch is, if you want to avoid the hack-a-Mitch situations, which are going to leave points on the board, you have a guy that can hit free throws and still play defense in Precious Achiuwa. So those are the things that we're talking about to think about. Shout out to Be Easy up in the building. Appreciate you for rocking with us. Now I'll let Bully go because I can see those fumes coming out of his head.
Sorry, Jigga. Sorry, Jigga.
Tunes cartoon character.
Like Jericho Sims, like this guy's a 4th center in the rotation at best. Guy doesn't know when to jump. Like it's Jericho Sims. Like if you want to give me Precious Achiuwa, sure. And all these minutes that Mitch played 25 minutes last game. Like what are we talking about? And like I don't know. To me, that's just I don't want to see.
But you got to think. I know where you're coming from, but you got to think of what we're asking him to do. If he opened up his wallet, he got 6 fouls in his wallet. All I want him to do is go to the store and spend 6 fouls. That's it.
But now you're playing. But now you're playing into Embiid's hands. This guy is an 80+% free throw shoot. He wants to get to the line. Like you're doing him a favor.
He can't get up. Because that's what he did to us.
We're
what he did to us.
You mean get them flagrant? Not just you 6.
Yo, listen,
just make him feel you a couple times.
I'm talking, Maxey shooting a free throw and everybody lined up at the baseline, and Embiid is standing next to Sims, and Sims, oh my bad, leaned on that left knee. Like, because at the end of the day, He did it to Mitch. He did it to Hart. He slapped fire out of Jalen Brunson last night in the face. You know what I'm saying? So like,
But if
yo,
it's
Duke,
a
you got 6 fouls. Go in there and use them.
but
You
if
know
it's
what I
a
mean?
if it's a 3-possession game, do you want a flagrant one or like
No. I'm
You know
just
what I'm
saying
We're not talking
throughout the
about
saying?
game.
putting
I
Jericho
don't
Sims in
mean
a
at the end of the
3-possession game
We
at the
got
end of the
30
game.
seconds
We're
left.
not
No.
doing that.
But
You talking about putting them in early?
Throughout
let me
the
get my
course of the
bars off.
game,
Let me get my bar. So you put them in early, whatever it is, the points count the same, whether you're at the beginning of the game or at the end of the game. Like, so whether it's a tight game late or a tight game early, it's still the same result in
yeah.
terms of
No,
points.
I
But
hear you.
like I
And
feel
that's a
you.
great point.
I feel you.
I just
You
feel
guys
like,
are
go ahead.
no, go ahead. But no, I feel where you're coming from, like the emotional side of it. But from like, in my opinion, from X's and O's, I don't get it. But like to what Phil was asking, like we scored 17 points in the first quarter. Like look at the way we close out that half. Like that game should have been a 15-point game. It shouldn't have been a 6-point game. Like and as far as Dante, like at this point, like it is what it is. Like we're seeing it. Like Josh Hart is regressing to who Josh Hart is. Shot what 1 of 6, 1 of 7 from 3, something like that. Going into the game yesterday, Deuce was shooting 53% from the 3. So for me, to Phil's point from our first show, please go watch it because we do drop gems. Go watch the first nightcap that we dropped. Phil put up a point about the minutes distribution starting, Dante versus McBride. We're seeing it. Like McBride is getting starter minutes. So for me, he went 2 of 7 from 3 last game. I want to see Deuce get up, 10 plus threes. Don't be under 10 threes. Get up 10 plus threes, no matter how you get it. Because if he's getting up his threes, that means he's on the court. And I love Dante, but he's been getting cooked. He's been getting cooked.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Dante, man. I mean, he had that powerhouse dunk in game 4, but other than that, game 1 and 2, obviously game 2, he was the hero of all heroes. But
Facts.
other than that, it's been wild, man. It's been quiet for him. And yeah, to put a bow on the Sims thing, yeah, like I said, we're not expecting him to do no more than just bully ball this dude to where he like, yo, I don't even want to be in the game no more. This
Get
kid is
one of
over here
those.
killing me, man.
Make it
Like,
filthy.
because that's what Son did. I mean, he stood on Josh Hart leg and doubled down on it, and then he fake picked them up. Oh, my bad, son. Yo, get out of here, B. Yo, listen, go
He's
in there,
corny
give
for
him
that.
2 fouls real quick, bang bang. You know what I mean? Like,
Do you think that's
and let
a
him
regular
go.
season thing? Like, do
Huh?
you think that they would say that for the regular season? I don't think they're gonna do it in playoffs. I think they save it for next year.
What, hitting him with the bully ball like that?
Yeah.
Getting him back.
Too
Yeah.
late. Be too late. They need to put Son on the floor now. You know what I mean? Because he's been doing it. This isn't being a bully and picking on people. This is fighting back. Says, yo, he been playing wild all series. Yo, put Son on the dirt, B, and call it a day. Like, you know what
I
I
want to
mean?
give a
But
shout out to my guy Ant because I said this on the
I like
morning
that.
brew and I got crucified.
I like this
People
right here.
before this last game crucifying me when I said let McBride start until Dante shows that he's going to contribute in this starting lineup. Like, give Dante the minutes. It might be easier for him to rejuvenate, get some scoring off of the bench against their bench unit because right now he's struggling. And I got crucified. So shout out to my guy Ant for understanding what I'm saying. At least give it a shot. Put a little chip
on the shoulder. Yeah.
What's it gonna hurt?
Right.
And
Put a little chip on the shoulder about doing that. That's what I do.
Yeah, exactly. And so
you're a Yankees fan, right, Phil?
Yeah.
So remember, Joe Torre, what he used to say about his guys, like you ride with your vets, like you ride with the guys that got you there. So I think that's kind of what Tibbs is gonna. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I think that's what he's gonna do.
Is neither one of them are vets. Let's be real. Neither one of them are vets. Like if you
but you would look at him as more of a vet. His paycheck is crazier. He's been in the league long. You know what I'm saying? Like there's that.
At the end of the day, like this is not saying like, oh, sit McBride for Jalen Brunson because Jalen Brunson's having this is a guy.
No, I get it.
That started off as another bench role player, got moved up because necessity, needed it, the trade, all this stuff. Played great games. McBride also had starting games this year. They've both contributed to victories for us throughout the season. At the end of the day, I'm not rocking with one role player over another role player just because one of them's a little bit higher in stature. This is not my stars. At the end of the day, I'd rather win than be like, oh, well, his paycheck's a little bit bigger. I got to ride with him. No, screw that. Who's going to get me to the second round of the playoffs?
That's a good point,
what I'm
though.
looking at.
No, I hear you.
That's
I
a
hear
good
you.
point. That's a fair point.
I mean,
So-
and
But
also,
you know they're not doing that.
No.
yeah,
Dante's starting tomorrow.
Tim
Dante
ain't even playing
starting.
Precious Achua, who won us,
Right.
that
Yeah.
game before. Why is he going to do something like that?
But I'm very happy to see Deuce doing what he's doing, because I remember months ago, a season ago, Deuce would go to the G League and drop like 25 and 9. And then the next night he would be at the crib at the Garden and he would put up donuts. You know what I mean? So and there was moments where you would see him. I think he broke like a G League record for threes last season or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he would come in and shoot like 0 for 4 from 3. So it's incredible to see him become the sniper that he's become seemingly overnight.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, this
Mid-range,
happened quick.
everywhere.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like as soon as the trade went down and RJ and Quick and them got out the door, it was like, damn, this happened quick. Now Son is kind of lethal. He might be in the 3-point contest next year. Like, it's like, damn, like Son really turned it up. So it's very good to see the development happen so fast with Son. And confidence is everything, man, whether it's sports or music or anything else. Confidence is everything. Like, it'll get you anywhere. You know what I mean? So once Son got that confidence of, I know I can hit 3 threes in a row tonight. That's it. Now Son be jacking crazy. Like, he hit the backboard last night. Now Son is like, he's trigger happy. You know what I'm saying? But I'd rather that than him being timid and being afraid to shoot and shooting 0 for 4 when he does shoot. So I'm very, very excited about his growth and his development and what he's been able to do so rapidly at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those points are spot on. Right now we got over 515 people rocking with us in the building. We appreciate you guys so much for coming through. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We will have open panel a little bit later on in the show for the people that have been hitting me up and asking about that. So appreciate everybody with their takes in the chat. We got Billy and Be Easy talking about, like, hey, this is West Virginia, Deuce. You need to be careful.
That's B saying that. UGB, I know that's B saying that.
He was there too.
So watching Deuce has been, an incredible thing to watch, the progression of him. And someone had a great point, I think it was Ant. He said McBride is given defense and offense. That's enough of a reason to consider him in that starting lineup, because
it's gonna keep him on the floor.
Dante's struggling with both right now, so shout out to Ant. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to the Miami Heat. Enjoy your Cancun vacation. You are out of the playoffs. Bam Adebayo cannot hurt anybody else this season. So screw you. I don't like you in any way, shape, or form. The Heat are gone. That makes me very, very happy.
Would you have rather seen in the Eastern Conference Finals us go up against the Heat as currently constructed or Boston as currently constructed, meaning injuries withstanding?
Yeah, I'm going Boston even without injuries.
Really?
And the reason I'm going Boston without injuries is because, first, Bam is dirty. Like, that whole squad is dirty. Like,
absolutely.
We've had so many people get injured at the, hands of the Miami Heat. We can't deal with any more injuries, especially ones that are going to last. Second, I don't want any easy outs. There are a lot of people that want the easy road to the NBA Finals. I don't. We have fought really hard for this. We have overcome crazy adversity. We have been dying for a New York team to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals since, forever. We've waited for these opportunities. So for me, I want the biggest one there. I want the guy that.
So you want the Bucks with Giannis and Dame full strength?
Yeah, I don't really care.
Oh, they food. The Bucks are food.
Like, I want us to beat the best so that no one can put an asterisk next to the Knicks season. Like, oh, they won because of this. Like, I don't want that. I feel like the 76ers did everything in their power to make sure that if we won yesterday, there was an asterisk. What did they do? They released in the morning, Embiid suffering from a migraine. He had to miss shooting practice. He might not
is that
be
what
able
came out
to
today?
play. Yeah, that was yesterday before the game. And then they also said Kelly Oubre has an illness.
Yeah.
He skipping practice today too. He's going to
And
be
then
a
2 days before that, with the whole Bell's palsy and all that, and
yeah,
after
So,
man,
he
see what
I
dropped
sick
felt
fit
like
the other day.
they
peace
were
and
doing
all that, you know what I
everything
mean?
to be able to say not only was Embiid injured, but he also had a migraine, and that's why the Knicks won. They did everything to make sure his legacy was intact if they got gentlemen swept.
Every team is gonna do that. Every team is gonna do that. It's business.
Exactly.
yeah.
So I would want Boston personally. But
Man, woo.
so
Tatum
what?
dropping 40, Brown dropping 40. Woo.
I don't even care.
I mean, I'm
bro.
with it all. I'm with it all. Don't get it twisted, but you know, if Goliath could be 6'5" instead of 7'5", I'll take it. You know what I mean? I'll take it. Come on, the slingshot hit a little closer when he's 6'5", man.
I want to respect your time. I didn't lock in with you on how much time we had you for, so I just wanted to check with you how you were doing on time.
Yeah, we got a few more minutes. Yeah. I know there's other things you want to tap into. I don't know if it's about the game or the rumors of the Knicks stuff today and all, you know what I mean, all the XYZs. And
So
I'm
we're
here
gonna
for a few
do
more
that.
minutes.
But before we do, my guy Bully asked if he could ask a music question. So I'm gonna let him ask you that question. We could chop on that, and then we'll go into the next topic.
Yeah,
What's good, man? So I've been listening to your music for a little bit of a while now, and like I noticed, like it sounds like a lot of jazz rap influence. Like the project you did with the Apollo Brown, like a lot of like the saxophones in there. You got the keys in there, and it just sounds like an updated version of like native tongues music and all of that. So like I was wondering, like, what's your favorite era of rap? Like, is it like the 2000 sound? Is it the jazz rap? Is it the boom bap? Like, what's your era? Because a lot of jazz influence in your music.
100%, 100%. So like for me, I listen to more jazz than hip hop. Even though I'm a rapper, I'm an MC, I'm a lyricist, blah blah blah. On my spare time and in my spare time, I listen to jazz. If I showed you my vinyl collection in the crib, it's 95% jazz records, 5% everything else. You know, so that's gonna be there. The influence is gonna be there. But as far as the sound, it was being a fan of Tribe Called Quest, being a fan of those guys, but then being a fan of Nas, Illmatic, and Biggie, Ready to Die, and Jay, Reasonable Doubt, and Blueprint, and then the Genius, Liquid Swords, and Ray, Only Built for Cuban Links. So what happens if you take Tribe Called Quest energy as far as the melodies, right? The sonic melodies, the sonic, melodic vibe of it. But then if you turn around and take the drums from Incarcerated Scarfaces, you know what I mean? Like that kind of makes up who I am musically. So
What about like Lupe Fiasco? Because like I hear your flow and like it sounds like that Midwest, like that Lupe flow, like the early Lupe, like the food and liquor Lupe, the cool Lupe. Like I mean, I hear like a lot of like similarities and like the way you verbalize, the way you speak, because you speak the same way you rap, and that's a compliment.
Right.
And like with your lyrics, like I always judge a lyricist by like forget the song, forget the melodies. If I could just read your lyrics and like I still get that same impact. And someone like Lupe, I do the same. I'll read their lyrics and I'm like, man, I could hardly speak it. These guys are rapping it at whatever the tempo is. So like any like modern day rappers that you like now or anything anybody
100%,
else now?
yeah. Well, Lou, shout to Lou. That's the homie. We came in around the same time, the
Yeah.
same era, so we're kind of in the same class or whatever, like the same draft class, for lack of a better term. But for me, it's about continuing to be a fan and keeping your ear to the street. I feel like anything you do creatively, right, whether it's music, fashion, film, even like sports content, like what you guys are doing and everything like that. If you don't keep your ear to the street, that's the day that you lose. The day that you stop knowing what's going on is the day that you lose. You got to know who else is doing Nick content. You got to know who else is nice, as far as, the music, or who got the fire new designs and fashion or whatever it is. Like you have to know, because if you don't, that's the day that your slip starts showing, like you start losing your ground, So for me, I'm a fan of the culture of lyricism. I always say that, right? That's like a term that I kind of coined, of like the culture of lyricism. Lyricism is an actual culture. So being a lyricist, being somebody who prides themselves on what they say and then how they say it. First what they say, but then how they say it. And like you said, but you could read everything and be like, yo, oh snap. And for me, we grew up on music where 10, 20, 30 years later, Illmatic, 30 years later, we're still finding stuff in the music. We're still breaking down stuff. Oh man, he meant that. That's what he meant. Oh, that's crazy. And I pride myself on that. And there've been countless people who come up to me and be like, bro, man, them double and triple entendres, when you said this 5 years later, I'm catching it. You really meant this. Or they'll quote it at a show. And I'll be like, yeah, but what I meant was that, and then this, and then and they'll be like, oh my God, bro, I gotta go listen to the record again. Because I didn't even realize
Can
that's what
I,
you was doing. And that's what makes the music worth it. That's what makes it where it's like, I know there's 150,000 people uploading music to the internet every day, but yours is worth me coming back to multiple times instead of going into all this other stuff when I could just be sitting here with you, you know?
Let me tell you what I went back to, man. I went back to heirlooms and accessories.
Yep.
And like for me, like the way that song opens up, like it's a lot going on at the beginning, and the way you went through it. But nah, man, I just want to give you some big ups. I've been a big fan of yours for years, man. Thank you for
brother.
Spending your time with us, man. Huge fan.
I appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, as a whole panel of lovers of music, it's always an honor to chop it up with someone's music that you actually enjoy. Like
I appreciate
there's
that.
a ton of Knicks fans. You can pull from a plethora of Knicks fans. But like if I'm talking music with a Knicks fan whose music I don't like, it makes it a little bit awkward and weird.
You gotta keep it to the Knicks. You gotta keep it to the Knicks.
Like, hey, can I plug my song? Nah, bro. Like,
let's just talk about the Knicks, baby. You know what I mean? So I appreciate the love from all of y'all. I appreciate the love from everybody in the chat. All the music is out now. The Mind of a Saint is out right now. This year is a lot of anniversaries. Thank you, man. Thank you. And this year is the anniversary for a lot of records. It's the 5-year anniversary of Retropolitan, myself and Pete Rock, with the Knicks cover art colors, by the way. Funny, I was talking to Pete last night when everything went down. Pete texted me like, bro, you see this? I'm like, yeah, man. He was at the game. And he was texting me for a while last night after they lost. But it's the 5-year anniversary of Retropolitan, the 10-year anniversary of Bow Brothers with my bro Torre. So it's a lot of anniversaries this year for some of my very popular records out of my catalog. And I'm somebody who's blessed to have a catalog as extensive as mine over the course of from 2006 on. We're coming up on 20 years of me being active, making making a living off of the music, right? Like the last time I had a job was 2006, so it's a blessing, 18 years of not having to wake up and clock in, you know what I mean? And it's an honor and a privilege. And to everybody who does clock in, I salute you, and I'll never forget what that was like. You know what I mean? I don't take that light. I remember that like it was yesterday. I hear alarm go off to wake my son up, and I get the jitters like, oh, I gotta go work. You know what I mean? I still remember the feeling, you know what I mean? So I respect everybody who is a part of that world and doing what they got to do for them and their family. And the music is another job. It's a 9 to 5. It's a career, man. It's a 24/7. It ain't even a 9 to 5. We can't clock out, But it's just been a testament to what I've been blessed to be able to do.
So before we cut and play a little bit of Blue and Orange Everything music video, my question for you, because we have a lot of the same influences. Like for me, Tribe is one of my favorites of all time.
Absolutely.
Tribe for me, so many people get hung up on certain things, like, oh, well, so-and-so is the greatest lyricist. And that's why I rock with them, and I look at like, okay, but who is the greatest conglomerate of that stuff? Like, I don't care just who's the greatest lyricist or who's just the greatest flow, but who can actually compile all those elements, and make something beautiful out of it. And for me, Q-Tip was always one of those guys, that it wasn't the beat that made Q-Tip, but his flow, his cadence, the way that he wrote beats, the way that he accentuated certain words in his lyrics that always set him apart for me, that I was just like drawn to that, and so that's something that's always been huge in my whole thing. It was like, I don't care to be just the greatest this. I want to create solid hip hop versus in totality. You know, like
Mhm.
every portion of it, from the way that I rock the beat to the way that I write the lyrics. I want them to be on the same playing field. Not that someone says his lyrics are great, but I didn't like his delivery, or his
Yeah.
delivery's dope, but his lyrics were subpar. You know, so
Right.
who is the lyricist or artist or whatever in the hip hop genre that has played the most impactful role for you? Like, who's that
Oh
artist
man,
that has impacted you the most?
there's a handful. Biggie, of course. You know,
Yep.
growing up a block away from Biggie, that was all the inspiration I needed. And I've told this story ad nauseum, and I'll tell it again. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
growing up a block away from Big was everything you could imagine it to be. You know, literally seeing him. I mean, I had to walk by Big crib at least twice a day because I had to go to school and I had to come home and I had to pass his crib to go to the train. You know what I mean? So grown and in that era too, like watching the Juicy video be filmed and watching them go from the guys on the corner shooting dice and twisting up a Philly to not being around as much because they on tour and they on the radio and they on TV and they live in Jersey now, but then still come around the way to the hood and like being a little kid, being 11, 12 years old. So, you know, that was everything. You know, I tell people all the time, when you hear Ready to Die, that album is about my neighborhood. You know, the album's about. So before I ever got to make a record about my hood, that record was made about my hood. And I just kind of took the baton and ran with it. So Big, of course, Jay, of course, without a doubt. Nas, of course, that's my holy trinity of hip hop. The Genius, without a doubt, hugely instrumental for me. Black Star, you know, Most Def, Kweli,
One
my
of the
brother.
greatest albums, one of the greatest like duo albums
Absolutely,
of
without
all
a
time.
doubt. Absolutely. One of the greatest songs ever, Respiration, you
Yep.
know. I mean, all three verses. I'm sitting here trying to pinpoint lines, and it's like, why bother? We don't have all night, right? So like, you know, so those are the guys that I was influenced by. Those are the guys
Yeah.
that made me push further as far as the pen. So now when I'm doing what I do, and then you got all these guys coming up that look at me and they be like, yo, Sky, you the reason I write the way I write. You the reason I do this. And I can't even name them because if I did, people wouldn't believe me on the chat. They'd be like, "Yo, he bugging, get out of here, he tweaking." But like, literally, like the guys is like, "Yo, you're the reason I do what I do," and I'm like, "That's real," because you are one of the however many that are out of here and have been out of here for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like to be able to just push that forward and give it forward means everything. And just going back to your point, you know, you said something, Phil, about doing one thing really well as opposed to doing multiple things well, which is the way it should be, you know, and you being somebody who looks at it like, all right, I got to do all these things well, is checking the boxes. And I think we're in an era where whether you make underground, whether you make trap, whether you make drill, whether you make pop rap, whether you make boom bap, whatever it is, I think a lot of people nowadays are very hype and content with checking one box. And the fans are good with you checking one box, and the artists themselves are good with checking one box.
Facts.
And we didn't grow up like that. Like our guys and our goats checked as many boxes as they could. The Black Thoughts, and they checked as many boxes as they could.
That's
The pen, the flow, the delivery, the pocket, picking the right beats, being a storyteller, being versatile, being relatable, being a monster on the mic, being a bar surgeon, having all of that. Like you had to check as many boxes on that paper as you could, and you had to use a Sharpie. You couldn't use a pencil. You know what I mean?
You sound like
go
a
back
battle
later.
rapper, man.
Huh?
You
He
sound like
was.
a battle rapper, like
He
you,
was.
like
He-
you on smack, like
This
yeah.
is
You know what I'm
homeboy
saying? Like
from
you have to check. You
Yeah.
can't check it with a pencil and then be like, oh, I didn't mean to check that one. That's a lot of work. Let me
This
get
is
rid of that. You
Mr.
know what I mean? Like
106 in
you got to
Park.
check every joint, man. You know.
That only lost to Jin because he dissed the host of the show. Like that's the only.
It's crazy, man. It's funny that had came up about a week ago, man. Shout out to my man Jen. Yeah, it was good times, man. I was 19, he was 19, and we was up there, and you know, just trying to get it going, man. And I knew what I was walking into because I was week number 6. So I knew what I was walking into. I was like, I know where they're going with this. You only get 7 weeks, you know, like
Yo,
I
you
know
got
what it
any,
is, right? So, but I knew I had to do that to be remembered and make sure they ain't try to jerk me and they ain't try to rock me but so much. And it was ill because like at the end of it, I remember he pulled me aside and he was like, yo, it's the wildest battle I've ever been in my life, man. He was like, yo, I thought it was over. He literally was like, yo, I thought it was over. After you kicked that, I thought it was over. I thought
yo,
I was
you would have
tapping
took
out.
Serious Jones out?
Huh?
would you have beaten Serious Jones on 106?
I believe in me, baby. I believe in me. And shout out to
I'm
Jones.
gonna
I've
say
known
yeah.
Jones for a while. I
Yeah.
believe in me, baby. I'm with it with whoever. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The
Shout out to
top
my guy
3 ever,
Jin.
whoever. You know what I mean? But it was
Yeah.
all in good fun. And me and Jen are actually really, really cool now. We keep up with each other. We
That's
always
what's
was
up.
cool, you know,
Yeah.
and we keep up with each other now as 40-year-old men
Yep.
Mhm.
with families and music careers and, you know, catalogs and things. And it's cool to be able to have that, to have
Yeah.
those memories and all that, man. It's
Nah, I
good.
love that. Shout out to Jin. Him
Yeah.
and I connected about 12 years ago, and really kicked it off and became friends. And then we were supposed to do a song together. He sent me the verse about 2.5 months before I had everything set for my studio sessions. Found out I had a brain tumor, and
man.
completely had to scratch the whole album. Had massive
Wow.
surgery. Had to learn how to like talk again and walk again.
Wow.
So that whole thing got dusted and it's still on my computer. So shout out to Jin. He's been a solid piece since
Let me tell
then.
you something, man. Music don't die, man. Music
It
don't
don't.
die. You know what I mean?
It might see the light of day if I can
Dust that
find
verse off
a
and go to
more
war,
current
man.
beat
You
on
know
the
what I mean?
same BPMs. You know, definitely do something like that. But we're gonna kick it to a few seconds of the Blue and Orange Everything video. Those of y'all that are rocking with us, if you don't know Skyzoo's music, get acquainted to it. I had the total honor of contributing the fan footage from last year's playoffs. And I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to capturing some of those clips
Super
again this
clutch.
year, you
Super
know, when we
clutch.
get that done.
Needed
So
that. You came through in the clutch with that, man. So that's
appreciate
how we
you.
connected. My
Yeah.
man who introduced me to the director who I used for the video, he sent me your page. He was like, yo, check these out. And I was like, oh, DM, you know what I mean?
And
Like,
Yeah.
and
it
that
was
was
crazy
it. You know what I
because
mean?
we had you locked in for the Knicks Morning Brew like 3 days coming up, and you were like, yo, I know that I'm gonna be on the show in a few days, but I also just got a message about your footage. And I was just
Yeah.
like, no, this lined up perfectly. So
Yep.
this is the video right here. It finally came out this year and it's fire. Shout out to the producer. Great work. And this should be the anthem for all Knicks fans. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Yeah. One time for the city. Yeah. Same aura as before. The smoke got blowing orange laws, meaning you pursue at your own cost. Last of a breed to do it how we was taught. Gods in the rafters covering you and yours. Gather round the world's most famous battlegrounds. Infamous enough where the havoc will do you proud. If you're not cut from it, it get harder to breathe it. In a concrete jungle, but the garden is Eden. Yeah, where one poster can hang you with a great speed. Where you can run up on whoever has an 8 seed. Or freeze up South Beach from off the line. Or 4-point plays in Easter overtimes. Let it bang. Serenade round of applauders. Center of attraction like a Hoya. Catch us with a dog in the fight for whoever should play the yard. Christmas went from St. Nick to St. Bernard. Right? We'll stand up for the legacy that the city knew. And then respond by giving the city 62. And stay mellow, knowing who among us. The crossover had 33rd like the Rucker. Hit for the cage, Dykeman and Roy Wilkins in Fort Greene Park, all in the building, right? It's one team in the city, let them know what it is. Empire state of mind, aiming over the bridge. Talk to us. Blowing orange, everything, blowing orange, everything.
Blue and orange, everything.
Yeah.
That shit is
Yo.
so hard. That shit is so
I
hard.
love that
I
song.
love it, man.
Appreciate it.
hard.
Yeah.
So, Sky, we've had you on for a while. Before we let you go and chop it up with the open panel tonight, what are your final thoughts on tomorrow's game? Do you think we wrap it up?
Oh,
And then
man.
also, what do you have going on, like musically, that people can follow, stay tuned to, if you're touring, anything like that?
Yeah. Well, I think we do wrap it up tomorrow. I think we have to.
Yeah.
I don't want to play with that fire and touch that knob on the stove while it's hot of a game 7. You know, I think we have to tie this up at the crib. I think the crowd situation is going to be insane because the media attention of how the Knicks bombarded Wells Fargo from Twitter, Instagram, whatever, to ESPN covering it, to I'm sure the local news in Philly. it's been ridiculous. If you hear about some people that came to your school or came to your block and caused mayhem and treated y'all like y'all didn't live there or go to school there, the next time they come around, it's supposed to be a different type of
It's
time.
up.
So
Yeah. Fact.
everybody going to the game, please be safe, be cool. It's just basketball. It's just sports. I'm going to say that, right? Because I probably would be tweaking if I was out there wilding out, going crazy. You know what I mean? So it's like, who you to say that, bro? You'd have been leading us going wild. But like, please, everybody, if you go into the game, be safe, be cool. It's just basketball because they are gonna now make themselves be known. They have to. You can't go to somebody's block and start tweaking, and then the next time you go, nothing happened. Like they're gonna start tweaking in response. You know what I mean? So, you know, we got to get this game. I don't want to play with that game 7. We got to get this game, man. And I think we do. I think Embiid comes back tougher than leather and tougher than ever. I think he really, everything we saw with him being timid last night, I think that's out the window. Maxi confidence is on 1,000 right now. He might try to go for 90. You know what I mean? So like all that has to be in their minds. Shake the jitters off, shake whatever off. Hart, when you was dumbing out and you became like Mike shooting threes, games 1 and 2, please go back to it. You know what I mean? Like Devo yamming it on heads and going crazy and pulling the trigger. Please go at like let's get back to it. Let's get this out the way, man. Let's get this out the way. Yeah, it'll be great TV if Saturday happens and it's game 7, but I don't want to play that game. Great TV will be in mid-June when we signing off and the confetti is blue and orange and the record is playing from the speakers and Mike Krzyzewski is saying, "Your 2024 NBA shit." Like, that's great TV. I don't need great TV this Saturday. I need head sleep this Saturday because we already won. So that's the end of that soliloquy there. As far as me and the music, you know, The Mind of a Saint, the deluxe version is out right now. You know, the original album for The Mind of a Saint was 10 records. The deluxe made it 17. So we added 7 more records, myself and the other guys who did all the production. We added 7 more records and almost made it like a double album where we talk about season 6 of Snowfall. If you know the album is me rhyming from the perspective of Franklin Saint the entire time. There's no, you never hear the name Skyzoo, you never hear the city of Brooklyn, the borough of Brooklyn, you never hear none of that. All you hear is Franklin Saint, South Central, 56th Street, LA, selling work with Teddy and trying to get my life together with my family and XYZ. So the album is that. The deluxe finishes up the story with the last season of season 6 and his downfall and where he went. It's a beautiful, beautiful project. The Snowfall team has actually been embracing it really crazy and shouting it out and supporting it, including Damson himself. Damson Idris has been super supportive of the project. It's going crazy right now, so please let's make it go crazier. And blue and orange, everything, man. Shout out to my man Alan Hahn. You know, he played it after the game 4 win. And I hit him up, and then he was like, "Bro, I'm playing it after every win. Like, you know that. I'm playing it after every win on ESPN radio." So it's been dope, man. It really is the anthem, and we continuing to let them know. Listen, man, ring that off in the Garden. We win the joint. Yo, I'm on 33rd and 7th with a mellow jersey and a bottle of Henny and spitting the record on the Jalen Brunson float. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it's gonna be.
Like Truth always says, I hope that song Blue and Orange becomes the winning anthem for the New York Knicks.
Let's
so
do it.
If you are a Knicks content creator and you're in this chat, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitter Spaces, whenever the Knicks get a win this postseason, make sure you start or end your episodes. Have it highlighted in some way, shape, or form. Let's make this the anthem. So many people can create an anthem that aren't actual fans. This is an actual fan who's actually talented, putting out actual music. So let's blow it up as much as possible.
It's our theme, man. It's our anthem, man. It's time. It's time for us to do what we got to do. I still believe in the Cinderella season. I'm not gonna let the air get out the balloon just yet. But I ain't gonna do that until it's really, really over. But you know, we can do this. We can do this. The last night was real. Last night should not have gone the way it went. But you know what? Tyson got hit too, and Tyson's my favorite boxer ever. Tyson got hit a couple times, but he came back out and threw them haymakers and put heads in the dirt. So put them in the dirt tomorrow, B. No games. You for the city. Put them in the dirt. Be straight up.
in Philly.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, send
In
them to
Philly.
the Wawa. Send them to
Yeah.
the
So,
Wawa. Yeah,
so
Yep.
before,
come on with
before
all
we let
that,
you
man.
go, Sky, Bully, let me know. Tick Pick just reported 45% of tickets that were sold for the game tomorrow were from New York and people in New Jersey. So 45%
That's
of
half.
the
We're
tickets
still in
are
there.
Knicks
Arena.
fans. We still in the building, but like you said,
Good luck.
be careful. Like
Yeah,
we
just be
caused
cool,
the ruck.
everybody. Be
We
cool, because
caused the
they gonna
ruck.
be on one. They
Yeah,
gonna be on one, man.
their
And you know
fans,
what I'm
their
saying?
fans
Because
aren't
they should
very
be. Because if the
brotherly.
tables was turned,
Oh,
we
we feel
supposed
the
to
same
be
way.
on one. You ain't coming to
Exactly.
my block acting
Yeah.
up and then you come back. What are we
Yeah.
talking about? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
We
Fully,
just keep
appreciate
it
you,
cool.
Sky.
fully
And
expect.
if we make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, we're already talking. Me and Sky are talking about doing some big things.
Oh
Come,
yeah,
come playoff time, maybe in
yeah.
end of May, early June. So stay on the lookout for that.
Let's
But
do
we
it.
appreciate you, my guy. Won't be the last time. Have a
Man,
great
it's
night.
much
Thank you
love.
for
I
taking the
appreciate
time,
y'all,
bro.
man. We did the morning with the coffee. We did the evening with the whiskey. Now we got to get the lunchtime show with a hero. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
Let's keep it
Facts,
going.
facts.
Word
Appreciate you,
up.
bro. We'll talk
Salute
soon,
to
man.
you,
Have a
bro.
good one.
Much love, man. In a minute.
Cheers.
Peace.
So, shout out to my guy Sky. That's always a pleasure having him on.
Mhm.
I want to give a shout out to this brand right here. If y'all like good whiskey, this is a brand called Short Barrel. All right, and they just released these. They're the Bee's Knees series. So different stores are able to pick up, their own barrel of it. And this is from a store called Roasted Spirits out in Orlando, Florida. But there's a difference between whiskey that's been flavored with honey and whiskey that's aged in whiskey barrels. And so this right here is a bourbon that was then aged in a whiskey barrel after. So the second barrel that it spent time in was in a honey barrel. So it gets all the taste of the honey, but also the taste of the wood from that barrel. And it is absolutely incredible. Like one of the best honey finished whiskeys I've ever had in my life. So shout out to Short Barrel. This thing is absolutely delicious. Before we start with the open panel, I wanted to get your guys' takes on tomorrow. What do you guys think? What do you think is going to happen? The open panel link is now there. Jigga, if you're here, if you could put in the Buy Me a Coffee link up at the top, I'd love to share that. YouTube likes to take all of our money. We would rather you buy us a coffee. Buying us a coffee keeps the lights on, allows us to create new things, allows us to actually be able to, spend this time doing things. So I don't know if Jigga fell asleep or not, but I'll try to find the Buy Me a Coffee link because he's up there. It is. Boom. It's right there in the top right corner. All you got to do is pull out your little phone right there. You scan it. Bada bing, bada boom. That's it. Buy us a coffee. You can donate $1. You can donate $30. You can donate $40. I don't really care. Just something, anything, nothing. It's all good. But what are your guys' thoughts? I'll rock with Apollo first. And then I'm gonna bring up our guest, let them give a take, and then the rest of the panel, and then we'll go to the next question. So, Apollo, what are your thoughts on tomorrow?
I think we handle business. We don't lose games twice in a row, especially the same way. There's one thing I know Tibbs is gonna do correctly. He's gonna game plan for the next game. We've been looking for those in-game adjustments, you know what I'm saying? But game-to-game adjustment, he usually does what he gotta do. Brunson, he's a leader, he's a true leader, he's someone who's not gonna make the same mistake twice. I think he leads the guys. I think they've been playing off of straight adrenaline for a long time, and I think this is the first game that they really are gonna lock in together and say, let's just get the job done and let's get these guys out of here. So I'm not saying we're not gonna have to worry about Embiid. I'm not gonna say we're not gonna have to worry about Maxey. We know how the refs are gonna be in Philly, but we got to play well enough to not put the game in their hands. You know what I'm saying? And that's to me, it's just that's how important it is. Or just don't leave it up to the refs. That's my number one rule. Is I don't care how good or bad you play, don't leave it in the hands of the refs because the refs will make sure that you lose, especially if you got New York on the front of your jersey. So that's my thoughts, man. I think we take it tomorrow and close the series out.
That's what's up. All right. So we're going to bring up my guy. I was actually supposed to watch the game with him last night, but we ended up having some truck issues. But we're going to get together, especially if Indiana and the Knicks move on, because he's here in Indiana. I'm currently here visiting the family, so we're definitely going to lock in and go to a game for Series 2 if that happens in Indiana. So without further ado, this is the OG, Mr. Billy himself. What up, what up, what up?
What's good, Bill?
What's
Yo,
good? What's good, my
OG?
people? What's good, my people? How y'all doing this evening?
Good, man. What are you drinking?
Peace, bro. Peace.
Huh?
See you.
What am I drinking? Theraflu. I'm a little. There were got a little bit of honey, a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of weather, man. But,
I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
I had no, you know me, man. I had a shot. I had some Douce too, man. Trying to knock this stuff out. At least that's the excuse I'm gonna give. I shot y'all, brothers, man.
Yo, so Billy, what are your thoughts on tomorrow, bro?
Must win, man. Must win. I stayed off Twitter today. I was on there for like real light work. One, I didn't want to hear the nonsense, and two, I had to compartmentalize what happened last night, honestly, because that was nasty work. We played 47 minutes and 30 seconds of basketball, and we just forgot to play the last 30 seconds of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I was mad. I wasn't on here over analyzing hindsight, because that's what everybody was doing today. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you should have had this lineup in, or they should have fouled. No, you should just play the last 30 seconds of basketball, and they didn't do that.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's over with now. I've buried it. I put a tombstone in Game 5. It's a wrap. I'm in Philly right now, and so we have to do what we've been doing all year. You have to answer the call, which we've been doing all year. You have to do what everybody said the Knicks can't do and win in pressure situations. This is the first time throughout the whole playoffs the pressure is on the Knicks to win.
Yeah.
First time since everybody got here.
First time. The pressure is on the Knicks to win, and I say that to say this: when you're up in a series 3-1, you are expected to win that series.
Yeah.
Period, point blank. Like, this isn't 0-0 no more. And if you go to Game 7, it's going to be 0-0 again. I don't care if we're at home at the Garden. I don't want to go to Game 7. A couple of my friends are asking me, man, they're like, Billy Faye, you sound kind of nervous. Damn right I'm nervous. Yeah, right. I'm an old school Knicks fan. I've seen this before, bro. I've seen this. You don't want to be on the other side of history when it comes to stuff like this. Philadelphia 76ers are 0-17 as a franchise, went down 3-1 in a series in their whole franchise. They never won. I don't want to be on the other end of that. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen that. I need Dante.
Mm-hmm.
I need Dante, man. I need Dante. And I said this earlier this morning. I held the space for like 5 hours. I was in there real quick because, again, I didn't want to hear the buffoonery and all this. But I did say this before I left. Like, two things could happen. And when you're up in the series, it's not up to you to make all the adjustments. You make tweaks. But if you're going to make something, I would do this. I would either start Deuce over Dante, and then some people were coming at me like, well, what do you think that's going to do to Dante's confidence? That's kind of degrading him. I'm not here to wear my feelings. I'm trying to win a playoff series.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Deuce has the better hand. Now, I love Dante. Don't get me wrong. But I think it's just against Philly that he's having problems against. You get past this series, you're not going to see another defensive team like Philadelphia in the rest of the freaking Eastern Conference.
Facts.
You got two teams that we're playing next in Milwaukee, Indiana, who are dog poop on defense. You know, Milwaukee they got Doc Rivers. They're gonna mess that up on their own. I believe that. You got Indiana, they'll score 135, but they'll give up 136. They don't believe defense. I don't know what Rick Carlisle is a old school defensive minded coach.
That's what he came from.
But with that being said, I appreciate what Rick Carlisle is doing. It's kind of like what John Harbaugh did in Baltimore when he got Lamar Jackson. Like, I'm not gonna make you fit my system. I'm gonna put my system around you. And that's what Rick Carlisle is doing here in Indiana. So I salute him because a lot of old guys, they don't know how to change their mind like that. So I salute him for that. But going back to my original point, you get past this series, and the next guys we face, that's more Dante's speed. That's the things he likes to see. Because right now, Philadelphia, and I hate like Nick Nurse doing all this damn crying and everything, but he's the damn good coach with the X and O's on the defensive side of the ball. He's doing a great job on taking Dante out the game and making the Knicks rely on our true others, knowing we're already shorthanded. Now we're out of bogey, so our rotation's getting even shorter. I would love to see Precious. Now that's one thing I was shocked about yesterday. I thought Tibbs, especially the way Precious played in Game 4, I thought I would see Precious in Game 5 because I would love to see that lateral movement, especially on defense against Embiid. And one more point, I know I'm going long, but
no, you good.
Probably sound like crap too. But I know you guys were talking about earlier about putting Precious on, Embiid on the line. I wouldn't even put Embiid on the line because that's what he wants. That's his main focus. He wants to get on the line to try to establish a rhythm.
Yeah,
he can't even jump no more. Like I'm watching this dude. Like I literally watched Mitch yesterday put an arm up and he blocked Embiid from the perimeter, and like. We're playing, Embiid really hasn't done that since Game 3, the third quarter of Game 3. You know what I'm saying? So continue to make him play on the perimeter. He's not going to go in the paint. He's not going to post up. Maxey, he can. Maxey's just Maxey, man. He's a dog.
Yeah.
Watching Maxey since, Kentucky. He's a dog, bro. And salute to Maxey, man.
Can't do nothing about that.
Yeah, he can't do nothing about that. But if people watch the game, guess what? He shot those two same shots at the end of Game 2. He shot 2 logo threes at the end of Game 2 trying to tie it up, and he just missed both of them. That did not shock me when he pulled that up from last night. Yeah. Didn't shock me at all.
That's who he is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Billy, did you say you're in Philly right now?
No, I'm at the crib.
Oh, okay.
No, his mind is in Philly.
Oh, my mind. Oh, yeah. Good. Thank you, Billy, because it's a therapy.
All right, I'm gonna hit you up.
6, man. I'm on the
game. I'm gonna hit you up tomorrow. But I appreciate you, Billy. We got to figure out how to, incorporate you a little more. I enjoy your takes always, bro. Always
got the worst takes ever.
No, I do, man. I do.
He's like. Bully is like the Eddie Presti of my night show. He's a little. Eddie's my little angry dwarf in the morning, and then Billy's my Eddie little
angry dwarf.
So, appreciate you, Billy. Talk to you soon, my guy.
Peace,
all right, we got Bobby. You in the building? You good? All right, let's bring up Bobby. What's up, Bobby?
Guys, how you doing, Phil? How you doing, Bully? How you doing, Paul Reed? How you doing, Deshaun?
What's up, man? How you doing? You doing good?
I think we're gonna win tomorrow night. And I think we got to take care of Mr. Frankenstein first, which is Ellen Embiid. He looks like Mr. Frankenstein. Then we got to take care of Maxi Pad because I don't like that guy. Yeah, I don't like that guy at all. I'm sick of him. He reminds me of that Trae Young kid. Oh, Trae Young got me sick too. We played him in the playoffs.
So Bobby, what I want to know from you is what do you think we have to do to make sure that we acquire that win tomorrow night?
Well, Billy brought out a good point and also Apollo, I think. So we got to change everything around. Do different offenses, put people where they're supposed to be. So yeah, I think we're gonna win tomorrow.
All right.
And then
I hope so, Bobby, because if people follow the Morning Brew show, Bobby was pretty confident it was Knicks in 5 on Morning Brew show.
Wait a minute. Phil, wait 1 minute. I said 6.
Oh, okay. All right.
And B got hurt in Game 4, so I said maybe we could win Game 5.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
I said 6 X Eddie or X Hector. Yeah, Hector knows. He brought that out today.
Yep.
And then guess who lost too? The Lakers lost. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was great to watch. That was great to watch.
Yes. I have the
Knicks all game and still go home. It was beautiful.
I got the Knicks and the Mavs at the championship.
All
and
right.
the Knicks
Well,
winning.
if so, you'll be on the show letting us know that your prediction was right, Bobby. I appreciate you, my guy.
Phil, you're awesome. Everybody else is awesome. Nice talking to you guys. You
Later,
Have a great
Bobby.
night, Bobby. Appreciate you, my guy.
Peace, Bobby.
Thank you.
Yo, that's our guy,
Love
Bobby. I
Bobby.
love that dude.
Bobby.
It's funny because I agree with most things, but the thing that infuriates me the most about Maxi is that I don't dislike Maxi.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wish you could hate him, right?
Every single post-game interview makes me like him more, which also makes me hate him more because it infuriates me that I like the guy and still, he's a hindrance for us. But like, it said right here, we got to slow down Maxi. The problem is like, you can't say in a series, okay, we got to stop Embiid. Everybody else can score, but Embiid, but then let Embiid and Maxi score. Like, it's got to be one or the other. And Maxi to me right now is the guy that needs our focus. A broke down, can't jump Embiid, let him score. Because every time he does jump, it looks like it hurts him more than it hurts us. Right. So at the end of the day, slow down Maxi. Without further ado, we got the most soulful voice in all of Knicks entertainment. We got our guy, Ron from Still Knicks Fan, joining us from El Baño.
Yeah, sí, El Baño.
Where's he at? Is he in the bathroom?
Yes,
he is
in the bathroom. Bathroom attendant.
He's in the bathroom with the in-sync mic. I love it.
Yeah, I got to do it. Oh, wait, make sure my camera is good. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah,
Did you just wipe your camera with toilet paper, my guy?
That's a good prop. I didn't think about that.
See, that's the Scotch plug.
Yeah,
man.
All right, Ron, before we talk about tomorrow's game, all right, something came up tonight, which kind of says something for Knicks fans. So there was a lot of speculation of offseason and Julius Randle. And part of our speculations were he just left CAA. We talked about it last week. Well, as of today, Julius Randle is now back on the CAA roster. What do you think that means, if anything, for the New York Knicks?
First off, let me just shout out, chat, everybody, Bully, Paulo, Eru, Phil, appreciate y'all. Always good to chop it up with you. And it was dope chopping it up with Eru in person yesterday, even though, it is what it is.
Yeah.
If I'm being, I don't know, man. I got to be honest. I don't like to read too much into things anymore because every time we think we know something, we're wrong. You know what I mean? Not all the time, but there's a lot of speculation and just. But if I was just being a regular fan and speculating on what I think, listen, man, Julius, has been away from the team. He's been saying this year, I'm taking no shorts, I'm getting deals, I'm thinking about my family, I'm getting money, and I'm thinking about what I can do to better myself. And this year has kind of not turned out exactly the way he hoped it would be.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to feel like, hey,
Can I ask you a question, Ron?
Yeah.
Do you think there's a coincidence that report came out after this whole Devin Booker stuff came out? Do you think they may be tied together?
Oh, well, you really taking the speculation bag to the next level, man.
That's what the Garden does, man. Whenever there's news shot, they like to have the little counter distraction story. Put the tinfoil hat on for a minute.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I think you probably nailed it. The Garden loves to hit you with something to kind of take the buzz away from something else that may be distracting the team or whatever. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is something that's been brewing and they already knew, and then the announcement is just happening now because of the Booker stuff that's popped up. Thanks to Stephen A. Thank you, Stephen A. But I just, some people might say that Julius is like, hey, he's noticing the Knicks are winning without him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good point. Like all those could be true factors. Like you look at it. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Is like, if this is how good the Knicks are without Julius Randle, like, not saying we wouldn't be better with Julius Randle, but it does leave the Knicks an opportunity in these playoffs to see what they're missing. Like, is Julius Randle that missing piece? Do we need to extend him to make sure that that missing piece doesn't go anywhere? Or is that missing piece something different, which makes us realize that we don't need to make an extension for Julius Randle? So those question marks of Julius Randle not being here right now could swing that pendulum for the player to go, holy crap, I do want to come back now, because my options may be a little bit limited. Right. Now I didn't just have a surgery on my foot last year, but now I had shoulder surgery this year. So now teams look at injury history, not just of one part of me, but multiple. Like, there's one thing when it's like, oh, that person has a reoccurring this injury, because it's one thing that has to be taken care of and maintained and focused on. But now that there's multiple things that could re-injure and surface, there could be concern from Julius's camp of like, hold up, the Knicks did this without you. Your value may have gone down. Like, you need to find a way to stay, with the Knicks. Like, let's not explore the options anymore. Let's try to. So there's a lot of possibilities, of what that could mean. And obviously with that Devin Booker stuff, like, let's say it's true at all. At first, I definitely didn't believe it because it was Stephen A. Smith, and anything he says, like, I take with less than a grain of salt. But now it's coming out from people on Phoenix's side that Devin Booker does have interest in coming to New York, and that, like, New York has made comments that there are very few things that they would be willing to, like, not part with to bring Devin Booker to New York. So now you have more people than just Stephen A. Smith saying this stuff, and it's just like, okay, well, in all actuality, like, they're definitely not moving Jalen Brunson. So the next piece up that we would have of value would be Julius Randle, and Julius knows that, his camp knows that. So, like, okay, how do we avoid that from happening? How do we avoid us being that, piece, that of interest to bring Devin Booker? Okay, let's try to get, secure. So there's definitely things to look at there, in my opinion. Like, a lot of times I try to ignore that stuff. But when multiple things start coming out and it's not just from the camp that you're a part of, that's when I start paying attention. When anyone that actually has something to do with Phoenix talks about that's a possibility, I'm like, okay, now it's not just Knicks for clicks, a ridiculousness. But moving on from that, because, I love, like, in my opinion, and I want to give a shout out to Apollo. He's been rocking with us, but he's had a crazy time celebrating his wife's, birthday. So he's actually got to dip out. So we're going to since no one else is on the panel right now, we're going to let him go, and we're going to throw Ron in his space for the rest of this episode. Unless anyone comes out, we appreciate you, bro. We love you. Looking forward to next week again.
Appreciate you.
But tell your wife we said happy birthday, and that we appreciate her sharing you with us tonight, bro.
I will, man. Thank y'all. Thank
Yeah,
y'all.
peace,
Y'all
pal.
have a good one. We'll see ya. Hopefully we get this dub tomorrow, man, and we'll be in a better tune next time we on here, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, my guy.
Hello.
Peace, bro.
My guy Ron, yo. I check you out, man. Holla at me.
All right, bro. You got it.
Peace.
All right, later, Apollo. Yeah, so I'm gonna throw it around the room. I'll start with you, Eru. We haven't talked to you in a while. What are your thoughts on this CAA thing? And then I'll throw it to Bully, and then we could talk about tomorrow before we wrap up.
Well, I haven't spoken in a while, man. I didn't even get into what I'm drinking tonight, man. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm drinking today. That's why I was gonna keep it gangster. So this is my little tequila.
I thought he really pulled something.
What is that?
This is Hijos de Villa. This is like a tequila here. I got it from Mexico. They sell it in stores and stuff, but they tend to put stuff inside like gun glasses. So they have rifles, they have other stuff too. This is a handgun, as you can see. You know what I'm saying? I was probably scared half everybody paying attention right now, scared everybody. But that's what
I
I'm
thought you
tonight.
pulled something out, bro.
Yeah, I had a whole segue with that, man, because we gotta get gangster in the game, coming up and stuff, man. But to answer your questions about the CAA stuff, I don't care, to tell you the truth. I don't care about the CAA stuff. I don't care about Julius at the moment. I don't care about Devin Booker. I'm looking at what we're doing and how we're trying to get through the series. So I don't appreciate when Stephen A. Smith did. I didn't appreciate it because I have him blocked. I have him blocked on social media ever since I started the Die Hard Knicks thing. I blocked him on all social media. I don't want to see what he has to say. I only see what he says unless somebody shares it. You know what I'm saying? And then like some of the other people from Phoenix, okay, once they start saying it, okay, maybe it has like what is it, smoke, there's fire. But at the same time, we in the first round of playoffs, we're trying to get rid of Philly, man. So I just don't want to deal with it at the moment.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Yeah,
I feel you. All right, what about you, Billy? Bully, what's up?
I care about all of it. I want all of it. Yeah, I hear what my guy is saying, but I'm not out there playing on the court. So, like, I still root for the team, still love the guys. But, like, if I'm Leon Rose, I'm not, like, if someone calls, I'm going to answer the call, especially if it's a Devin Booker type player. Like, I'm not saying, well, we can't talk right now. Like, I'm picking up the phone. But as a fan, I'm all for it. I love the conversation. I'm like Ibu said, when it came from Stephen A, I'm just like, all right, like what are you up to now? Are you bored? You need some engagement, you need some marketing, branding, whatever it is. But when I heard the other stuff coming out, I'm like, is there something to this? And if you what's the reporter's name? Chris Personian, he was on this like a while ago, that Devin Booker's like the guy, and he's CAA as well. So and it's kind of weird that Randall came back to CAA, he's CAA, all this stuff is coming out. So I don't think it's a bunch of nothing. I think there's something to it because no matter how far this team goes or what happens, like we all know why Leon was brought here. Yeah. So I'm not against it. I don't like, I'm not focused on it. I'm rooting for the team, but we could do more than one thing at one time. Like I'm still going to go to the game, still going to cheer for who's ever on the court. But give me Devin Booker. I'll say. I know it's unpopular. We got to shut up and fan, but I don't care. Give me Devin Booker. I'll take him any day of the week.
I mean, I'll take him too, but I just don't want to talk about him now. We get like the thing about Devin Booker is that as soon as like you said, as soon as Leon Rose got here, the connection from him and Devin Booker was always there. So it's not like it's a surprise, that this comes out. That's why it kind of annoyed me when Stephen A. Smith brought it up, because it's not like it hasn't been brought up before. It's been brought up plenty of times. They asked Devin Booker specifically about Leon Rose and all that stuff in the past, and he's grinned and smiled and stuff like that. So it's, that stuff has always been in the background. But I just think
not news. It's not news. Like it's not new news. Yeah,
it's not a surprise. It's definitely not a surprise.
Yeah, I'm with the same thing. How you feel? I mean, if it comes to the point where they're actually going to really sit down and talk about it seriously, yeah, all right, it is what it is. I don't know why you bring it up at the moment that you do, right after the Knicks won a big game and have a chance to clinch basically win the series in the next game, and that's the first headline. That's the thing you want to open your not open your show with, but that's like the big talking point you want to make about your show. It should be more about the fact that your New York Knicks are ready to send the other team home with another game But that's why I call Stephen A. Smith a fair weather Nick friend. Nick fan. I don't know. He's Fugazi.
Yeah,
Stephen
you know
A.
what I
Smith.
think it is?
Yeah.
like we know he don't watch the games. He doesn't watch the games.
Yeah,
So
absolutely not.
so the few games that he watched, he saw Dante playing bad. So Stephen A's probably, well, who's a good shooting guard out there? And he probably just, pulled something up and turning old news into new news for clicks. So yeah, I'm with you guys, man. But I'll be real, man. Like, I would take him any day of the week on this team. Any day of the week. I don't care if I got to send Dante to the bench, Josh to the bench, if I got to send Randall out. Give me Devin Booker. But like I said, not a good time to have the conversation, but since it did come up,
Well,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
cool.
I was just gonna say real quick, and Eru, you can say what you're gonna say. I just think that if I'm the Knicks organization, it's more of a wait and see for me. You know what I mean? Like if the Knicks get through Philly, which they should get through Philly, and then go on a nice little playoff run, win the second round, get into the Eastern Conference Finals, and who knows, miracles or whatever crazy stuff could happen. They get to the finals. I'm not saying win the finals. I'm saying even if they got to the finals, if this Knicks team got to the NBA Finals, I'm not trading guys and blowing this team up. I might look to add a little piece to complement guys, but I'm rocking with who I got. Now, on the reverse, on the flip side, if something unforeseen happens, right? I don't even want to say it, but you know where I'm going. If something unforeseen happens in this Philly series, then oh no, then I'm hey, what? Huh? What you got? I'm calling everybody. Like I might be ready.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Hey, Phil's back.
Yeah.
Hey.
Sorry about that, guys. That was so crazy.
There's something about Maxey too, man. Watching him go crazy, I feel like if we had a guy like him with Brunson, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. And so one thing I wanted to say about what Bully was saying. What happened? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. So one thing I wanted to say about what Bully was saying with the Devin Booker thing is I was actually talking to a couple that I'm shooting their wedding, and they live in Ohio, and they're like diehard Cavs fans. And so they were like asking me, like, let's be honest, like as a Knicks fan, do you want Donovan Mitchell? And I started talking to him. I was like, if this was last year, that would have been a different subject. But now, no, seeing what we have, there's no need for a Donovan Mitchell. A Devin Booker, though, that's the difference. Like that would be a huge, push for our organization. That would be a huge a momentum boost for us as the Knicks. So I personally would not frown at an opportunity to have a Devin Booker, and so I think it means a lot of stuff. What people talking about CAA and stuff like that. What if this means that Randall coming back means that he might realize his value might have gone down a little bit, and that's a benefit to us, like that we get him at that lower price point being CAA, but maybe can still swing a Devin Booker, in some way, shape, or form. So those are things to, kind of pay attention to. And so normally I don't, listen to that kind of stuff. But like I said before, when it comes from other people, then there's reason to pay attention. Shout out to everyone in the chat. We've had at points over 660 people in the building right now, about 450 in the building rocking with us. Number dropped when I disappeared off the face of the earth. But I'm back and I'm glad to be back. Shout out to the Los Angeles Clippers for being absolute trash tonight and getting destroyed by the Dallas Mavericks. Like, it's one of those like rough nights when you look and it says that like for the Clippers and their game leader is none of the all-stars that they've spent millions upon millions to have, like that's crazy when it's like a role-playing center that is your game leader when you have 3 all-NBA over the year caliber players.
They were like 6 for 30, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. So shout out to them for getting their teeth kicked in Honestly, it just makes me go, man. Like this is an exciting postseason, and I'm honestly like not very scared of a lot of teams now. Watching what's happened in the playoffs, there's just very little teams that I'm like, oh, they could be a huge problem for us. So shout out to the Los Angeles Clippers for their beautiful night tonight. It's getting late. I know everyone's got work tomorrow and stuff like that. Shout out to everybody in the building that recently just came in. We got Bricks Nation joining us. Knicks will be 2024 NBA champs joining us. We got Boulevard 73. Salute. Appreciate you for coming in and rocking with us. We got Izzy Black showing up. We got Show Quan showing up. We appreciate every single one of you guys. If you guys can, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps us with the algorithm. We want to continue to, get more and more names like Skyzoo was tonight onto the show. The more engagement that we see, the more opportunities there are for us. But I want to throw it around the room on our thoughts for tomorrow night before we wrap up. What's your thoughts, Bully?
I just bought tickets.
What?
They're so cheap, man. I'm calling out of work tomorrow, so I'll be in the building. So if you guys are there, man, just let me know. Shoot me a DM, man. Love to, Bricks Nation, what up? So I'm gonna be in the building, man. But I want to see this team get off to a good start, man. Because playing from behind for 12, 15 minutes, like it's exhausting. And to your point that you made earlier about Mitch, it leads for tired legs later on in the game. So just get off to a good start. Let the chips fall where they fall.
Yeah. I'm hoping we take it tomorrow. I'm hoping, I understand Tibbs has his way, but in these moments, at the end of the day, I don't care about personal success. I care about winning, Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, there's a lot of static.
All right, I'm gonna throw it to you real quick and just switch that up real quick.
I think it's okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say I just want the Knicks to go do what they got to do, man. Just play Knick basketball, be smart, take care of the X's and O's and go out there, play 4 quarters of basketball. Stop letting I mean, if you can't listen, this is games of runs. So maybe it's tough to stop Philly from getting out to a run early. So whatever, just withstand the run like they've been doing and get back into the game early. Don't let it go too far before you kind of make your run to combat what they're doing, because they always get off to these early runs, and just play. They had a good game plan for Philly for most of that game. It was working out okay. Just continue to do that type of stuff, and try to play. Listen, don't press, but try to play the best possible basketball game you can. As sound and as smart as you can to get this game sealed up. Because let me tell you something. A lot of Knick fans have been going crazy about all these mistakes. What Mitch did, Hart missing free throws, guys. Yeah, it's all true. We need to clean that stuff up. We need to be smarter out there. But let me tell you something. If you watch that game, Philly made a lot of mistakes. They were throwing the ball all over the place. Some were unforced errors. I'm like, what are they doing? I'm not mad at it. We'll take it. So you gotta you gotta hope that Philly continues to play that same level of basketball. We continue to put the pressure on them, because if they play smarter, it's gonna make the game even that much harder for us. So listen, just go out there and do what we gotta do, man. Win this game, play all 4 quarters. That's it. And depend on and rely on each other.
Yeah, no doubt. If I can, piggyback on everything, we just gotta get back to playing Knicks basketball, rebound, and don't turn the ball over, move the ball, let and try to get into the spots that we've been successful in. I think we've been kind of ignoring what we've been doing to get us here. So if we could just bring it back to the essence and just start playing our style of basketball, we should be able to win. But I'm looking at other teams and stuff that they've been getting cracked in the first round. Like this round, the Knicks and Philly, it's been like a toe-to-toe fight. You know what I'm saying? So no team has gotten cracked yet. So I'm afraid walking into Game 6 that somebody's going to get cracked. I don't know if it's going to be us or Philadelphia, but we'll see what happens. We're waiting for DiVincenzo to get loose. If he can get loose, in that first quarter or at some point in the game, if Deuce can get loose at the same time, if we can just play our best basketball, maybe we can crack them. But they got bums like Tobias Harris, Kelly Oubre, and Kyle Lowry, and all these
campaign and
yeah, man, they got a chance to crack us too, man. So I'm looking forward. I'm looking at that to possibly happen in Game 6, but I'm hoping the Knicks do it and we could just get rid of these guys, man. Because truthfully, I'm just tired of looking at them. I'm tired of looking at them, man.
Yo, do you think it's like the teams are evenly matched? Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah. No, I was gonna say real quick. I think they are very. I think that's why this is I mean, we've been saying it kind of here and there in passing, and people don't focus on it too much. This is not a first round matchup. This is definitely not a first round matchup, but it is what it is. That's how the cookie crumbled, and we got to just deal with it and rock out. Philly is a lot better than what they. I mean, sometimes it doesn't look like it when they're playing, but they're better than what they looked like they got to this point to be in this position because of injuries. But if they were healthy, they would not even be fighting for a play-in, all this stuff. They would be like the 4th, 5th seed, maybe even the 3rd.
Embiid would have been an MVP this year if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
Here he is.
Yeah.
We're gonna try this one more time. I don't know if this is gonna work. Am I sounding like I'm in the tunnel still?
No, you're okay right now.
Goodness gracious, trying to fix that was hell. Anyway, so where are we at? Everyone give their takes.
Yeah,
Eru was gonna say something real quick
All
about
Go for it.
Philly, and then
Well, I was just gonna add the whole Rocky thing. Shout out to Apollo, Apollo Creed versus Rocky. The way that they fought. Apollo had the offense. He thought he was gonna dominate the no name person. The Knicks saw Rocky. The Knicks saw the no name team. Nobody knows who the hell our guys are. We know Brunson now, but we don't know the rest of the guys. For some reason, we're going toe to toe against this juggernaut here, man. So. I think that's what's going to happen the next day. We're just going to beat the hell out of each other in this next game again, and we'll just see how everything plays out, man.
Yeah, I think in order to win this game in closing, we need to go into this game not expecting anything less than game 4 or game what game did they win? Game 4?
they won Game 3.
Philly won?
Game 3.
Oh,
That we need to go into this not expecting anything less than Game 3 Embiid. Like if we go in with any mindset that he's going to be what he was this last game, then I think we shoot ourselves in the foot. We need to play as if it's going to be Game 3 Embiid and Game 5 Maxey. Like that's what we need to prepare for. We need to prepare for the best of both of them. And unfortunately, because Embiid knows his legacy's on the line. Like, let's be real. Like, when even announcers are talking about, if he loses, this is something about his legacy. Everyone's waiting to see if he can actually be an MVP type player outside of the regular season. Like, if everyone's talking about it, he's hearing it, So he's going in with that mindset in this game. Maxey's going in trying to prove why he was most improved player. And if all we do is let Jalen Brunson try to be the 1-2 punch against both of them, then that's going to be an issue for us. Like, it's going to be a huge issue for us. Like, we're missing Randall. He would have been our number 2 in the playoffs. We would at least hope. We don't know, based off past playoff experience, but we need someone that's going to step up. We need someone that's going to, for sure, be that. We've had different players be that in different games, but you can't be that in one game and then disappear in the next. Like, we can't have that. We need a consistent person that is going to be there to have someone that Jalen Brunson can rely on. Like, we need that. And for me, that's got to come from either OG or Dante. Like, you are Dante DiVincenzo. You can't come in, break the Knicks 3-point scoring record, and then be timid to shoot threes in the playoffs. Like, we can't have that. Like, you got to find your shot. Like, I don't care what he's got to do. Spend all day in the freaking gym. Like, I don't care. Do whatever you have to do. Shoot every single 3-pointer possible till tomorrow night's game. We need you to at least make 3 to 5 3-pointers. Like, we need you to. Like, it's not a want, it's a need. So I'm hoping one of those two guys really, really step up, because at the end of the day, I love our team, but I'm not trusting a game 7. Like, with Nick PTSD that I've had, I'm not looking for a game 7. For me, if it goes to a game 7, like, I'm going to be off social media, like, up until the game, and like nothing, because like my nerves are going to be shot. Like, I'm going to be a shell of a human if we go into a game 7. So I'm hoping we don't. Anybody got any final thoughts before we close out? Appreciate everybody in the chat. We had at least 400 plus throughout the whole night, rocked up to about 680 at one point. So thank you all for, everything that you guys do as a chat. We appreciate you guys, as viewers, as friends, all that stuff. But any final thoughts from anybody?
I just wanted to say real quick that I'm rocking with what everybody was saying, all the takes with regards to tomorrow. I agree 100%. And what you said right now, Phil, I think that is really important. I do not want to see game 7. I don't want to see game 7. You leave too much things up for chance. Let's get it done. There's gonna be a little bit of pressure on the Knicks to get it done, because they don't want to see game 7 either. And as much as they want to go play freely, it's in the back of their mind. We don't want to see game 7 either. I don't care if it's in the Garden. So there's a little bit of pressure, but there's still people going to be saying, oh no, now Philly's playing with house money. There's no pressure. They've already made no. There's pressure. They definitely don't want to lose on their home court with the Knicks beating them there. So, I want them to go out there and get it done. The other thing I was going to say is I agree with you, but I will say two things real quick. The knock for those people, the haters, when we got Dante DiVincenzo, the one thing that some people pointed to was his playoff performances. If you look at his playoff numbers, it don't look that great historically. So I don't like that, but I'm hoping tomorrow that can change. The other thing too is, as much as I want to get on Dante for doing more, I think he's trying. I gotta say, this is the one thing I would like to see Tibbs do a little bit more of. He's got to do some things to get Dante going, some cuts, some back screens, if you look at how Philly's playing Dante, they're not. It's not even. I hear what you're saying, Phil. I don't even know if it's not just that he's not pulling the trigger. He's not getting a lot of space. They are closing that space off, so he can't even get a moment to really launch the ball. They're doing a great job. I think they feel like Dante is the X factor. He's the key to getting the engine going. So they've been keeping him out of it. So hopefully the Knicks can do a little something to open that up tomorrow.
And that's true, but I also see, like, typically when Dante's at his best, he doesn't need much time to get it off. Like, when it comes to catch and shoot threes. In the playoffs, there's been a bit of hesitation. Like, he has not just caught the ball and shot it. Like, a lot of times he's thought about it, and I think, like, sometimes thinking, for a pure shooter like himself can do more harm than good. Like, you saw that with Quentin Grimes nonstop. The biggest problem with Grimes was that he was always thinking, about what would happen if he did something instead of just doing it and see what would happen. Dante at his best, some of those 30-point games that he was coming out with, he was just catching and shooting, and so there's been quite a few opportunities, even in this last game, that he would get it, think, put the ball down on the ground, and then contemplate the shot. Like, that's not what we need from Dante. Like, Jalen's doing enough of the dribbling. You don't need to dribble too. Like, I don't want to see you dribbling and then shooting a 3-pointer. Catch it, shoot it. Let's see what happens. So that's my only critique on him, is that, like, he's supposed to be that catch and shoot Klay Thompson type shooter, where you just get it and you're ready. But we haven't seen that over these last few games. I don't know if he's in his own head, like trying to reach his own potential of what, like, people expect him to be. But I feel like he's been in his head. So let's see, 59% of his shots are threes, lowest since 19 to 20 playoffs. So Bully just sent something that 59% of his shots are threes, lowest since 1920 playoffs. Bully, what are his threes normally at, percentage-wise, the amount of shots that he takes?
So for the regular season this year, this is excluding garbage time, he was at 69%. Now he's down to 59% of threes. So it's down 10% the amount of threes he's taking.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that to me is a huge factor. You know, like at the end of the day, just 3 more 3-pointers a game from Dante DiVincenzo. 3 made threes. That's 9 points. Most of these games, that's a victory. You know, like that keeps it from being close for us. That covers a multitude of sins from the free throw line, you know, that the Knicks have struggled with. So, you know, at the end of the day, I understand people are going to have their ups and their downs. You know, I just want to see some up, you know, from Dante in these next few games. You know, like you said, in game 2, he was good. But 1 out of 5 games so far, you know, I need a little more. And same from OG. His defense has been elite. Some of the games he's had great offensive, like, you know, determination on his cuts and stuff like that, and showing, you know, that he can create for himself. And then there's some, it's like, oh, wait, OG played how many minutes? I didn't think he was out there that long, you know, because of the lack of, you know, contribution on the offensive end. So that's my final thought. Anything else, guys, before we wrap up? Shout out to Sherwin. I see you in the building. Brick Nation, appreciate you. And yeah, you know, Tyrese Maxey is what happened to Dante. Tyrese is a hard person to defend. He is quick and fast. No, I agree. You know, defensively, I don't think, you know, most of us have a chance. And that's one reason that, you know, I was very keen on McBride for Dante in the starting lineup for at least one game to see what that does, because McBride is one of the few that has been able to at least slow down Maxey when he's on him. And I feel like his confidence is a lot higher right now shooting the 3 than Dante's is. So that would make it, you know, less of a factor as well with Maxey being on him. But any final thoughts, my guys?
I'm good.
You good, Bully?
I'm good, man. I'll be in the building tomorrow. So guys, let me know if you guys are there and we can meet up.
Appreciate you. Yeah, if you guys are there in the building tomorrow, please make sure to hit up Bully, grab a photo. We'll show it on the show next week. But until next time, we appreciate you guys. Blessings to all the Knicks fans, blue and orange, everything. Make sure that you are repping your Knicks no matter what city you're in tomorrow. Rep your Knicks gear with pride. And hopefully tomorrow we are gloating about being in the second round of the playoffs. So until next time, blessings. We will see you guys later. How do I do this outro? I think Jigga fell asleep. I don't know how to do the outro. Jigga fell asleep. Here we go.
3, 2, 1.